Okay, ready.
Welcome to the Spectrum Center here in Charlotte, North Carolina for session number 2 of the Jumpman Invitational. Our first game tonight will be the 7 o'clock tip-off matchup between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Michigan Wolverines. Following that, the Florida Gators and Oklahoma Sooners women's teams will do battle shortly after the conclusion of this first game. My name is William Gregory. I'm joined tonight by Adam Bressler. We're going to give you folks a little bit of a pregame show as we're inside 10 minutes before tip-off of this highly anticipated matchup. And Adam, we're seeing a lot of powder blue in the crowds tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's no surprise. Chapel Hill is only about 90-minute drive down, 85 from Charlotte. Makes a ton of sense that this is Tar Heel country. It is the Tar Heel state. Not only that, it's the Jumpman Invitational. Where did the one and only Mr. Jumpman, Michael Jordan, attend? He went to none other than the University of North Carolina. So it makes sense. It's his stadium, his state, his arena, his tournament. There are going to be a lot of fans wearing light Tar Heel blue today.
Well, it might be their state for now, but Michigan did win that game last night against the Carolina women. And if Michigan can pull it off tonight, it's a sweep of the Jumpman Invitational in the Tar Heel state. And Michigan would own North Carolina in basketball this year. Michigan has played North Carolina quite a bit over the last 6 seasons. This will be the 5th time they've met in 6 seasons. Last year's ACC Challenge was the last one. The Tar Heels beat Michigan in Chapel Hill last December by a score of 72-51. And the frequency of which these two teams have played is kind of unprecedented. It had been since 1993. That was the last time these two teams played until 2017. That started this streak.
It's really odd because they played 4 times from 1989 until 1993. And then once again, they played another several times in a row between 2017 and now 2022. So they had a huge gap in between, but they had a burst where they played several times in a row. They played 3 seasons in a row and then twice in one season. We'll get into that later in the broadcast. So these programs have a lot of bad blood, including a national title matchup. Michigan only has a handful of teams that they have faced with a national title on the line, one of them being Duke, the other one being UNC, and obviously more recently Michigan has made it, facing off against Villanova and Louisville and some other programs as well with the national title on the line. But elite company for the Tar Heels to be in that conversation.
Definitely, and the North Carolina Tar Heels are as blue blood as a team can get. They're obviously up there with the Dukes and Kansases and Kentuckys of the world. That's why they're called blue bloods.
Quite literally, the 3 blue teams, and Duke and North Carolina are just minutes down the road. Kentucky already played Michigan this year. Michigan's really trying to establish itself among the company of champions.
And Michigan could be a blue blood. They might have the Mays Big Block M logo, but the secondary color is blue. And over the past 10 years, Michigan basketball has established itself as one of the country's premier programs. You see that in recruiting and the results on the court. Even last season, when it was a down regular season for Juwan Howard and the Wolverines, they still went on a deep tournament run to the Elite Eight. This season, kind of starting similar to last year, a slow start. Michigan 7-3, Carolina's 8-4, and we'll get into how their season has gone so far as we get into this game. But this is a real chance for Michigan to net their first big win of the year. They're 0-3 against Q1 teams, meaning the best of the best in the country. They've done fairly well against Qs 2 through 4, being undefeated, 7-0. Carolina is ranked in the top 20 in KenPom. Net has them in the 30s. That's NCAA's rankings. And this is really the chance for the biggest win of the season for Michigan thus far. They could have done it against Kentucky. They dropped that game. They could have done it against Virginia. They dropped that game. Here's another shot as this will be the last big marquee non-conference matchup for the Wolverines this regular season.
And this is kind of odd to say because at the beginning of the season, the Tar Heels were pretty consensus among the top, if not the very top, at least top 5 program in the nation.
They were the preseason #1.
Now they come in unranked, both Michigan and UNC. So compared to Virginia, who they face at #3, compared to Kentucky, who they face at 18th, this is probably, at least according to the Associated Press, the easiest game they have. The question now becomes, is Michigan able to finish and get this win that'll change the trajectory of the season? They fell short against Virginia. They fell short across the pond against Kentucky. But this is a final shot before the Big Ten Conference really gets its conference play in swing to earn that quality win. I know UNC might not be ranked, but beating them in essentially an environment that's a road game would be a huge, huge helium balloon to Michigan's morale heading into 2023.
And Adam, you mentioned that with the history of these two teams, it's pretty surprising to see both of them unranked. This is the first time in their 9 matchups that both teams have entered the matchup without an AP ranking. Michigan overall is 4-5 against Carolina, but 2-2 in the last 4 games over the last 6 years. So it's been dead even going back to the late 80s when these two teams started to play each other. But this is the first time where the stakes are kind of low. And we could look back later in the year and say this game was substantial in that these two teams have the entire regular season, the entire conference slate. North Carolina's played 2 conference games. Michigan's only played 1 to right the ship and get back to a high ranking. It could start here tonight in Charlotte. We're inside a minute of the national anthem playing. We'll pause for that, but we have a bit longer to discuss this game. We're very fortunate to be here tonight in Charlotte. It's been a very fun trip down. Obviously, the women's game last night didn't go how we would have liked, but we have our internet connection stable tonight. We had the fine folks here at Spectrum Center come down and fix us right. Our ushers have been nothing but kind to us since we've been here. They've always wanted to help. The ticketing staff is great. They've helped my mom get into this game. They've treated us really well. It's been a very fun environment. And we're about to get set for the national anthem. We'll let that play out live here, and we'll come back for the start of the game. We'll do a bit of an open and share some pregame notes. But stay tuned. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Tonight's game features the Michigan Wolverines from the Big Ten Conference taking on the North Carolina Tar Heels from the Atlantic Coast Conference. And while they're on opposite sides tonight, both universities are part of the Jordan brand family. That being said, we would like to remind all fans that the Spectrum Center encourages good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Thank you. At this time, we ask those who are able to, please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who serve during tonight's national anthem. Performing tonight's anthem is one of the Queen City's own. Please welcome Clarka Whitcliffe.
Stripes and bright stars through
It's the second night of the Jumpman Invitational here at Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. An exciting first session last night saw the number 17 Michigan's women's basketball squad knock off number 6 North Carolina 76-68. A relatively quiet Emily Kaiser was aided by teammates Leah Brown and Layla Felia, who dropped 25 and 20 points respectively. In the second game of the night, former Wolverine big man Colin Castleton's Florida Gators couldn't get past the Oklahoma Sooners, losing that one 53-62. The Wolverines men's team hopes to defeat the preseason number 1 but now unranked Tar Heel side that could be finally rounding into form. A dangerous opponent stands between Michigan and dominance over the state of North Carolina. With the exception of Brady Manick, UNC still sends out the same starting lineup as it did against Kansas in the national championship last April. However, they lured away a valuable graduate transfer from Northwestern in Pete Nance, who has filled that veteran 4 spot nicely. The Heels are a shaky 30% three-point shooting team, 309th in the country, but they rebound and defend very well. Armando Bacot represents a challenge on both sides of the floor for Michigan. He's a walking double-double. The veteran guards R.J. Davis and Caleb Love sparked last season's surprise tournament run and are capable of volcanic scoring outbursts. Michigan will need its young contributors around Hunter Dickinson to step up tonight to ease the burden on the big man. Jet Howard will be checked by arguably the best wing defender in the country, Leaky Black, while Nance is a springy big who will be capable of guarding Terrence Williams II. The game will likely come down to its guard play, and with Michigan's inexperience, with freshman point guard Doug McDaniel making his 3rd start after losing Jalen Llewellyn for the season against Kentucky and London, UNC has a clear advantage in that regard. My name is William Gregory. I bring in my broadcast partner for tonight's proceedings, Adam Bressler. Adam, we've seen multiple versions of this Michigan men's basketball team so far this season. They're liable to almost lose at home to Ohio, push a top 5 Virginia program to the brink, or blow out a Big Ten opponent away from home as they did against Minnesota. Which one do we need to see tonight?
Well, it's obvious we need to see that Minnesota squad. Minnesota, when Michigan went to Minneapolis, from start to finish, they played a really dominant game of basketball. They were making their shots from the outside. They were getting their rebounds in the paint. They were playing full court press up and down the court, which is exactly what the Wolverines needed after 2 straight devastating losses for the Wolverines against both Virginia and against Kentucky and London. Kept it close, just unable to finish. Michigan had a completely different story against Minnesota on the road nonetheless, and were able to just dominate from whistle to whistle. And that's what the Wolverines are going to need today. Kind of calling back to how the women's team played yesterday. They have very similar struggles in being streaky, especially when shooting from beyond 3. The women's team against the women's North Carolina Tar Heels came out and they just drained shots early and got 35 points in the first 10 minutes. If the men's team is able to even come close to that today, they should be in good hands.
Absolutely, and it's very much a North Carolina home game as this crowd has filled in tonight. It is almost exclusively powder blue. We've seen a good number of Michigan fans as well as the Oklahoma Sooners and Florida Gators fans who are also present at this tournament. But we're in North Carolina, and the North Carolina faithful have showed out. We're very happy to bring you this game tonight on WCBN FM Ann Arbor, 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, as well as the YouTube broadcast we are simulcasting tonight. We're in for a fun night of basketball after one last night that was a lot of fun too. We saw that Michigan women's team beat North Carolina in home territory for the Tar Heels.
I hate to speculate. I think the women's squad could slingshot into the top 10 in the AP rankings.
That would arguably be well-deserved. They've only lost 1 game on the year. It was to a good Toledo team. But we're set for the men's team to tip off here. It'll be the normal starting lineup that we've seen since Jalen Llewellyn went down. Doug McDaniel at the point guard, Kobe Buffkin at the 2, Jet Howard at the 3, Terrence Williams at the 4, and of course Hunter Dickinson inside at that 5 spot. The Tar Heels come out of the huddle, and we know their starting lineup. It's been very much the same over the past year and a half since they made that big tournament run. But now with the addition of Pete Nance stepping in for Brady Manick, who's left for the pros, their lineup will be R.J. Davis at point guard, Caleb Love, the active shooting guard, Leaky Black, the big defender who will be tasked with guarding Jet Howard tonight, Pete Nance, and Armando Baycott.
We'll get into this in a moment, but the Wolverines wearing bright maize, the Tar Heels wearing baby blue, really pops against the black and white hardwood they have here in the Spectrum Center.
Dickinson and Nance are awaiting at the center court logo for the referee to come in and tip this game off. The crowd here at Spectrum Center is on their feet, awaiting for the beginning seconds of this game. The tip-off ends in the hands of Jet Howard, and Michigan will start with the basketball first. Doug McDaniel's got it at that center court logo with the Jumpman on it. Works his way to the left wing. Screen set Dickinson. McDaniel out to Bufkin. Now inside Dickinson, who's doubled. Out McDaniel, top of the three-point line. His three-pointer wide right. North Carolina doubling Hunter Dickinson early. They brought Caleb Love over with Armando Baycott to stop the Michigan big. Baycott has it up top, guarded by Dickinson. Off-ball screen comes for Caleb Love, who works his way to the right wing. Pass off Davis. Now Black in the corner. Works its way along to R.J. Davis on the left wing. Now Baycott far above the three-point line. He does not attempt three-point shots. The shot clock is winding down. Leaky Black has to chuck up a desperation shot. It's blocked by Jet Howard. Black gets it back on his own rebound, and it's a shot clock violation. Michigan basketball, a good defensive possession early.
Michigan really suffocating and not giving any open looks. They're not going to let any easy shots come up for UNC. They're going to have to really earn it.
Howard on the right wing. Screen set by Dickinson, but Howard loses it. Picked up by Baycott in transition, and he dunks it. Offsetting that shot clock violation, he gets the Tar Heel crowd on their feet. Baycott, the back-to-back MVP for this Tar Heel squad, has a chance to make it 3 straight as he's still this team's second leading scorer. Dickinson, a face-up jumper is long, doesn't even hit the rim. It's picked up R.J. Davis. Bounces inside. Baycott, stolen away by Hunter Dickinson. McDaniel on the right side. Running the rail is Terrence Williams. He pops out for 3. It rims out. Rebounded by Baycott. Transition offense initiated by R.J. Davis. Now Baycott driving in on Dickinson. Looked to travel. It was a wild shot off glass, and it was rebounded by Michigan. In transition, Dickinson gets it, and McDaniel had found him, but Dickinson's shot was affected by Baycott enough that it went long. Leaky Black in transition in the corner for 3, and he nails it. Black, an improved three-point shooter this season. He actually leads the Tar Heels in that category, shooting 38% on the year. That's improved from 33% last season. He's not known as a scorer, but he gets the Tar Heels their first three-pointer of the game. North Carolina up 5-0 just over 2 minutes into this game.
Michigan can't buy a shot so far, and they'll quickly find themselves in a hole.
Bufkin dives inside, but he reverses that. Bufkin makes a layup to get the Wolverines on the board, 2-5.
This is what we've seen all season. When Michigan's really been slow to start, Bufkin's really ignited that engine, got the whole offense moving.
Caleb Love starts on the left wing, gets a screen, moves around it, shoots a 3. It's long. Love can score a bunch, but he also can go ice cold. He misses his first shot tonight. McDaniel hassled, pass out right wing. Howard nails a three-pointer. And Jet Howard, who's shot 40% from 3 on the season, nets one to give Michigan the lead. Love working around another screen from left to right. Bounce pass inside to Baycott. It's a turnover. Picked up Jet Howard. Slow in transition. Michigan will just look to set it up. Howard. Right corner McDaniel drives inside, pulls it out. Gets it to Dickinson, who screens for McDaniel along the baseline. And a pull-up jumper from about 18 feet goes down for the freshman. Now Michigan has the lead, 7-5.
All 7 of those points unanswered.
R.J. Davis drives in, dump-off pass to Baycott in front of the basket. A baby hook shot goes in over Dickinson. Baycott ties it once again.
Not too many guys could go over Dickinson like that. 7'1", really takes some height and agility.
Williams on the left wing passes to Dickinson up top. Working from left to right comes McDaniel. He passes to Terrence Williams in the left wing. Williams goes long with a three-point shot. Caleb Love running in transition. Reverse layup around Terrence Williams goes down. And these two teams have been running the break in this game. Michigan had looked to slow it down, but off a missed shot from Williams, Carolina went out and running, and Caleb Love is on the board with his first bucket of the ball game. McDaniel inside, a looping shot goes above Nance and Baycott and goes down from the right side.
Really tough to pull that off, and he just found an opening and ran away with it, and fortunately found a way into the basket.
Davis gets a screen set from Nance. Tar Heels have run that play so far, going left to right and passing off to Leaky Black in the corner. Black steps up from the three-point line, shoots an 18-footer, is fouled on the jump shot, and we've reached the under-16 media timeout. Black will have 2 foul shots on the back end, and these two teams have gone shot for shot so far, now tied 9-all. That foul went on Jet Howard, by the way, his first of the ball game, the first foul we've seen.
We saw some foul trouble in the most recent game against Lipscomb. Michigan ultimately was the benefactor of that, as they had a tight lead, but their bonus position in the bonus really put them ahead at the end. But something to keep an eye on now. We only have 1 foul from either team through 4 and some change of play. Very disciplined play from both squads.
Definitely, and you mentioned that Lipscomb game, Adam. These two teams, the Tar Heels and the Wolverines, couldn't be coming off of more different matchups in their last games. Carolina beat Ohio State in overtime at Madison Square Garden. That was the number 23 ranked Buckeyes. It came off a buzzer beater from Pete Nance to send that game to overtime. The first buzzer beater with no time remaining on the clock for North Carolina since 1987. And Carolina ended up winning that game, beating a ranked team. And that's why a lot of the metrics think that Carolina is better than their record indicates. A lot of their losses have come with poor shooting. They had a stretch during their 4-game losing streak where they shot around 41% from the field and 27% from 3. Michigan, on the other hand, nearly dropped that game against Lipscomb, a mid-major, albeit one that has had some success making it to the tournament in recent years. But you cannot lose that game at home, especially after dropping the game to Kentucky, coming off a big win against Minnesota. They also lost that game at the end of November to Virginia. So both of these teams having things to work on. It's arguable that Carolina has a bigger momentum swing coming their way after beating a Big Ten team on the road, at least in a neutral site in Ohio State, and Michigan coming out stinky against Lipscomb.
Yeah, and Michigan so far has really struggled to control the pace of play. In transition ball, we've seen several errors and turnovers, several just unfortunate shot selections that Michigan by no means was pressured into taking. And we've seen that all season, but so far it's been especially bad. I'm curious to see if Coach Howard makes any adjustments at the moment or coming out of this under-16 timeout very quickly into this ball game.
And the timeout has ended. Leaky Black will step to the line. Seth Tribble has come in for North Carolina for Caleb Love. Black, a 64% free throw shooter, is short on the first shot.
Also now the game for the Tar Heels, number 14, Puff
And
Johnson.
Puff Johnson has also come into the ball game for North Carolina. He's got the most minutes off the bench for the Tar Heel squad. Second free throw also bricked by Black. So Michigan comes away with the rebound, escaping those free throws with no points given up. McDaniel to Bufkin on the left wing. Dickinson on the left block. Working against Pete Nance. Dickinson still going inside, a couple dribbles. Baby hook shot is in from the left side. And Dickinson gets on the board with his first field goal. Nance initiating the offense up top with Baycott out of the game. He tries to send a pass right, but the freshman point guard, Seth Trimble, was going the other way, and the ball went out of bounds. Michigan gets the basketball off the North Carolina turnover. McDaniel again slow, bringing it up. Michigan does not want another transition opportunity for North Carolina. Dickinson gets the ball in the post, is doubled. Ball works its way around to the right corner, and Jet Howard knocks in another three, his second of the ball game.
That was thanks to a turnover from Carolina. Already have 4 on the evening tonight. Got to get that in check if the Tar Heels want to turn this around.
Buffkin was off his man for a moment. Davis pulled up a three from the right wing. It went long. The rebound is fought for between Johnson and Puff Johnson and Terrence Williams. The possession arrow on the jump ball goes to Carolina. They'll keep the basketball. Joey Baker and Terrace Reed coming in for Hunter Dickinson and Kobe Buffkin. It's not often we see Kobe Buffkin come out of the ballgame this early. He plays the most minutes for the Wolverines on the year at just over 30. But he comes off first. And Baker comes in guarding Leaky Black. Black has it on the right corner. Fakes a pass. Dives inside. Right elbow jumper. It was a faded shot. And it goes off the right side. Rebounded goes to Michigan. McDaniel at the free throw line, trying to get it inside, pulls back out. Coach Juwan Howard on the sidelines, dictating the offense to the Michigan offense. McDaniel had a screen set up by Terrace Reed, and it was an illegal screen. A foul called on Terrace Reed, a turnover for Michigan.
Second foul of the game for the Wolverines. First for Terrace Reed.
And it really stops a lot of momentum for the Wolverines on offense. They were on a 7-0 run over the last minute and a half, made 3 of their last 3 field goals. Carolina's got it. Nance on the left block, working against Reed. Fadeaway jumper is blocked by Terrace Reed, rebounded by Doug McDaniel. McDaniel pushes the pace. Howard on the right wing, trying to make moves on Seth Trimble, but passes away to Terrace Reed. Reed working inside, gets Nance in the air, and Terrace Reed puts in an and one. What an offensive and defensive possession for the young freshman Terrence Reed.
We got a 9-0 run over the last 2 minutes, 31 seconds for the Wolverines. Scoring drought for the Tar Heels extends even longer than that, and Michigan has a chance to add one more point here, make it a 8-point lead if this lands. It's up off the rim, and that's going to be no good. Rebounded by Carolina.
And Reed has shot 25% on free throws this year, albeit in a small sample, but it continues the free throw woes for Michigan. The lead stays at 7, 16-9. Baycott has checked back into the game. He's guarded well by Reed, has to kick it out. R.J. Davis on the left corner. Inside floater, no good. It went short, but it's rebounded by Black. Kicks out to the right wing to Puff Johnson, who nails a three.
After 3 minutes, the scoring drought has finally ended. Question becomes, what will Michigan do to respond on their own on offense?
McDaniel pass to the top of the key to Terrence Williams. Joey Baker jumped with the basketball. A travel is not called. He had it on the left wing. Terrence Williams got it back, worked it all the way along the baseline. McDaniel loses the basketball. It's picked up by Williams. And that time, another travel was hoped for by the Carolina crowd, but instead Terrence Williams is fouled on the shot attempt. So 2 possible travels for the Wolverines. The Tar Heels really wanting that call to go their way, but Terrence Williams will step to the line for 2.
They showed the replay on the Jumbotron here at the Spectrum Center. The mainly Carolina fan base was not too happy with that as the first shot goes up and in. Michigan leads 17-12 with 12 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in this first half. I think there's some bad blood, especially with Joey Baker. Not only is he the opponent today, but he came from Duke as a transfer.
Well, the interesting thing about Baker is that he did play 4 years at Duke, but he never played North Carolina.
I did not realize that.
I checked the game logs once, twice, thrice. He didn't play the Tar Heels at all in 4 years. So this is the first matchup for the former Blue Devil. He's on Seth Trimble. Trimble's pass inside Baycott. Baycott's layup is long, and it's rebounded in transition by Jet Howard. He has a wild pass sent to McDaniel. McDaniel flips up a shot. It's rebounded by Terrace Reed, and Reed puts it back in. Terrace Reed, some early good minutes for the freshman. Carolina working back up top to R.J. Davis. He knocks in a three, and you cannot let this Carolina team get hot from deep. They will kill you.
Yeah, Michigan's had all the momentum, yet they still only lead by 5.
You are listening to 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor for this matchup of the Jumpman Invitational. Floater from Jet Howard just below the free throw line goes in. Michigan back to a 7-point lead.
Howard 3 for 3 from the field with 8 points already today.
Michigan shooting hot, 8 for 14 from the field. A lot of those points coming from the young freshman Howard. Jet switched on to Caleb Love. Baycott has it about 15 feet away from the basket on the right baseline. Baycott working against Reed. A strong hook shot goes down with the left hand from Baycott.
Possessions like that are where Michigan really misses Hunter. If Hunter's in the paint, I don't think he gives up that point.
Although Reed is playing physical defense, Baycott is just too strong inside. Jet Howard trying to isolate on the left wing, has to pass it away. Gets a dribble handoff from Reed. Howard gets it back, tries to flip it into Reed. It's turned over. Caleb Love, transition pass, Trimble. It looked to be blocked by Jet Howard, but a foul is called. Trimble to the line for 2.
I want to see that replay. It looked pretty clean to me, but it's so tough, especially on a fast break. It looks like he got most of the ball. Maybe an elbow was touched there.
And I think he was leaning into the body of Trimble. We've reached the under 12 timeout.
You see in college, they call that consistently. We're here live from Charlotte today for the second evening of this Jumpman Invitational. Very interesting format. I alluded to this right before the game, but Michigan is playing against UNC, and Michigan's wearing the maize. UNC has the blue, neither team wearing white. The hardwood is painted white with some black paint in the middle and between the arc. Very popping for players of both teams. Very unique. All 4 teams, both the 2 playing now and the 2 playing later tonight, Oklahoma and Florida, they will be wearing no white. So they really want to make sure this pops on ESPN. During this media timeout, we're going to take a quick break and let you know about some history of this Jumpman Invitational. This is the first year ever they've had this Jumpman Invitational. It is a collaboration between Nike and ESPN and the Charlotte Hornets. So obviously we got Jordan owning the Hornets and having a business deal with Nike. So a lot of collaboration there. We begin back in 1997. Jordan started the Jumpman brand for shoes as he was still an athlete, and he went on to win the title that season. Still innovating. He was the first real athlete as an active player to really advance as far as he did. Accelerate further, 2015, Jumpman brand well established. Michigan becomes the first university to sign an inclusive deal, and that was $170 million is what it ended up coming out to. We got the very first game that was launched was 2016, and Michigan football, we had Jordan along with Derek Jeter, Charles Woodson, and Lamar Woodley. All Michigan athletes and all Jumpman endorsees were there. So we're actually going to end this media timeout. We'll jump back to the history of this a little bit later. But the brands between Michigan, UNC, Jumpman, and Jordan really run well back long, and there's a lot of history as we go into this very first Jumpman Invitational here in 2022.
Score is 22-17, 10:27 remaining in the first half. Seth Trimble, the freshman from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, steps to the free throw line for North Carolina. His first free throw rims out. He's a 67% free throw shooter on the year. The 2022 Wisconsin Mr. Basketball, number 38 recruit in the country per 24/7, a consensus 4-star. Makes that second free throw to make it 22-18. Joey Baker breaks the press off the inbounds pass for Michigan, and the Wolverines will attempt to set the offense in the half court. McDaniel slowly dribbling around, trying to find an outlet. Gets Hunter Dickinson on the top of the key. Not guarded tightly by Baycott. Works its way out to the left wing, back to McDaniel. Now up top, Buffkin. Buffkin drives in just in front of the basket. Pull-up shot, no good. Went long, rebounded R.J. Davis. Davis, left wing Puff Johnson, brother of Suns forward Cam Johnson. Pass off Love in the left corner. Love working all the way to the right side of the free throw line. Has a sweeping layup that goes down. And Caleb Love, a dangerous scorer, cannot be allowed to get that close to the cup without good defense by the Wolverines. 22-20, an ovation and some noise from the Carolina crowd. Dickinson, wild with his dribble, loses the basketball. It comes away R.J. Davis, and Dickinson swats Davis in transition. What a block from Hunter Dickinson on the recovery. Michigan comes away with the basketball.
Who other than Dickinson to get the rebound, too? He did everything there. Made a mistake on offense, didn't stop, got the block, and eventually the rebound.
Buffkin's got it inside on the right end. Flips up a shot and is fouled. The shot goes short. No good. Buffkin will stride to the charity stripe. Foul goes on Seth Trimble, and Buffkin is the Wolverines' best free throw shooting player, only at 79% on the year, but that just speaks to the Wolverines' foul trouble or free throw shooting trouble.
Yeah, we've seen woes all season. Michigan eventually went to overtime against the Ohio Bobcats due to their struggles. The game against Lipscomb was much closer as that first shot goes in for the Wolverines. Much closer than it had to be, simply because they just couldn't make their shots. They kept getting fouled, unable to really put the game out of reach. With that made point, Michigan leads 23-20 as we got a second free throw coming her way from the line.
And Buffkin has been great for the Wolverines over the last few games. Over the last 2 games, he's averaging 18.5 points, 3 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and shooting 75% from the field at a 15 per 20 rate, 83% from three-point land. Nails both those free throws to extend the Wolverine lead to 4. Ball working its way around the horn for Carolina, ends up with Love on the left corner. Pass back Black for 3 is long, rebounded Joey Baker. McDaniel working on the right wing, trying to collapse the Carolina defense, pulls back out to the top of the key. Calls Dickinson for a screen, gets it on the right side, working towards the right wing, now right corner Baker. Inside pass, Dickinson on the right block, guarded closely by Baycott. Hook shot from Dickinson, off the back of the iron, rebounded Leaky Black. Black, Love on the left wing, inside Baycott in front of the free throw line. Fading hook shot from Baycott goes down. And Armando Baycott kind of looks at himself saying, how did that go in? He also comes away hurt. Looked to be hit in the face by Hunter Dickinson. We'll check the replay. Yes, he was elbowed by Dickinson. We may have a review for a possible flagrant foul. No foul was called on the floor. The shot went in from Baycott. It was a beautiful looping hook shot. Hubert Davis, head coach of the Tar Heels, is irate on the sideline looking for a call from the referee.
Looks like he got his way. Officials will take a timeout. Take a look at this. Seeing the replay, I don't know if it'll get the nod for a flagrant. Certainly contact was made there. I think he was going for the basketball, but we'll have to see. And I don't even think they're going to take a look at it. They're going to just play.
And Will Cheddar, who has not played since the Minnesota game for Michigan, checks in.
As you might be able to hear, a lot of UNC fans here, none of them happy with the lack of review on that last one.
The redshirt freshman Cheddar, the backup big, sets up at the left wing. McDaniel passes off Buffkin right wing. Dickinson back inside against Baycott. Looking for revenge is Baycott. Pass out from Dickinson to Buffkin in the right corner. It's long. Rebounded Caleb Love. Love fakes the pull-up 3. Dribbles between McDaniel and Dickinson. What a move from Love, but he left the layup short. Michigan out and running. Left side. McDaniel Floater good. Good sequence for Michigan to recover from that missed shot, and they did not let the Carolina crowd blow the roof off the Spectrum Center. Michigan keeps that 4-point lead. 7.5 remaining. R.J. Davis almost loses a pass that was intended for him. Pete Nance has it, kicks it back out. R.J. Davis on the right wing. Davis drives inside against McDaniel. A floater from Davis is rimmed in and out, picked up by Michigan on the rebound. McDaniel trying to find somebody. Arent with his dribble, keeps it alive. Pass to Bufkin in the right corner. Dickinson finds himself on the block with nobody on him. He faces up for a jumper. It's long.
He literally had 10 feet in any direction, wide open, 20 seconds, and missed it.
It was rebounded by Carolina. Caleb Love coming inside is fouled by Dickinson, and Dickinson kicks Love. And these two teams are in a fight under the near basket.
I know this game's on national television, but no need for some pay-per-view right now. I have a feeling Dickinson might get a technical for that one.
Dickinson could possibly be ejected. He stomped on Love when he was on the ground when he already fouled him. These two teams have to calm down. Dickinson's still in this ball game. No call has been made, but something will have to come on this. Joey Baker, a former co-captain for the Duke Blue Devils, pointing to the Michigan huddle saying, we've got to keep this under control, pointing to his head saying, you know, keep it in your head. We're all good. But not a great look for Dickinson, who, we'll be honest, already one of the most hated players in basketball outside Ann Arbor.
Almost certainly. He's like a modern-day Christian Laettner, which Michigan fans and UNC fans can both relate in their hatred towards Christian Laettner. But Dickinson, he's a captain, he's a junior at the university. He needs to have more of the discipline. He knows that you can't do that. You're 7'1", you get a lot of leeway. You can't make dumb mistakes. You can't put your body on the line and get physical and then afterwards get in a altercation. It's completely unacceptable from the big man for the Wolverines, and he'll likely get a technical at best and might not be on the court the rest of the game.
Carolina coaching staff talking to the officials. The officials are at the scoring table looking this over. We're having a break with some local CYC students on the court. We haven't seen a replay of the play. But with 6:53 remaining, Michigan up by 4. It's too close of a game for some technical foul free throws to make a difference here. And Hunter Dickinson has to keep his head. I assume that play stemmed from the previous foul that was not called a foul. Dickinson elbowing Armando Bacot in the face on a made hook shot from Bacot. Dickinson was jawed at by the Carolina crowd, the coaching staff, the bench, comes back down the floor, fouls Love, and Love said something to him on the ground, but that's no reason for Dickinson to step on him.
Okay, the refs are out of the huddle. Let's see what the call is going to be. Conferring with each of the teams and the scorers table. I have a feeling we might get a technical there.
And Bacot was stepping to the line. It should be Love attempting that free throw, but he's still in the huddle.
Talking now one with each of the coaches here. Coach Howard can't be too proud of how his players acted in that one either. Completely instigated by the Wolverines.
Definitely. We'll see what happens out of this timeout. Carolina's ready to play the...
We have a Class A technical foul.
Class A technical is going to be the call. Likely on Dickinson.
The officials talking with...
Michigan's Hunter Dickinson.
It is on Hunter Dickinson.
And Suburban, Michigan's Doug McDaniel.
And McDaniel is also getting the nod.
Foul.
Wow.
On North Carolina's Armando Bacot.
Bacot issued a technical foul as well. And Caleb Love too. So in that ensuing fight, the scrum after Dickinson stomped on Love, McDaniel and Bacot got involved, both given technical fouls. The officials let the Michigan coaching staff let them know that.
On Michigan's one, Hunter
The initial play stemmed from a shooting foul on Hunter Dickinson, So Caleb Love will step to the free throw line, attempt 2 free throws. We'll see what the technical free throws come to. I assume they'll be assessed, so we'll see. Oh, they are offsetting technical fouls. We won't see any free throws from the scrum.
Is it just me, or did Michigan kind of get off the hook there?
Yeah, you only get these 2 free throws from Love. He buries the first one.
I guess ball don't lie on that. But Dickinson is still in the game. Granted, he got 2 fouls, both the personal and technical on that. But beyond that, no additional shots. Second one rims in and out.
And Pete Nance called for a foul on the rebound attempt. He impeded Terrence Williams from grabbing that basketball. A foul goes against Carolina. So at the end of it, it's a personal foul on Pete Nance and a personal foul on Hunter Dickinson. Offsetting technical fouls give the ball to the Wolverines, and Carolina only scores 1 point off that series.
Each teams have 6 fouls, too. Something to keep in mind with still 6.5 minutes left to play in this first half.
Dickinson and Williams work a 2-man game to break the Carolina press. Doug McDaniels receives the basketball at the center court logo. Passing to a streaking Kobe Buffkin, working from right to left, inside on the left block, flips up a layup, it's good. Michigan up by 5.
Michigan shakes off that adversity, puts more points and extends their lead.
6.5 minutes left in the first half. Black on the left wing gets Joey Baker to jump. Terrence Williams now has Pete Nance in the post. A double comes from Buffkin, who leaves Caleb Love wide open, but luckily for the Wolverines, Love's three-pointer is off right iron. Williams in transition tries to dump off to Buffkin, and that ball is batted out of bounds by Caleb Love. Another questionable call, but it goes the Wolverines' way. And a lot of Tar Heel fans are thinking, we're at essentially in a home court game. Why does it seem that the home cooking is on the Wolverines' side tonight?
Yeah, Dickinson checks on out there. I imagine he'll be out for ideally until halftime.
He does have 2 fouls. Jet Howard still is in the game with 2 fouls. Howard gets the basketball, pulls up from the free throw line. No good. It rimmed out, almost went down, but it comes out to R.J. Davis. Davis gets McDaniel on the crossover, passes into Baycott, who's working from the right corner all the way inside to the block, and Baycott tells Terrace Reed he's too small, tells this crowd Reed is too small, as Baycott worked all the way under the basket for a reverse layup that goes.
That's just textbook.
McDaniel floater short, barely hits rim, rebounded R.J. Davis in transition. Carolina goes quick. Right corner 3, Love hits the ground and it goes down. Caleb Love is fouled and one on the 3-point shot. North Carolina is rocking tonight here in Charlotte.
For the first time since 3 minutes in this game is tied at 28 apiece. UNC actually has a chance to take their first lead since it was 5-2 very early in this game.
And if Love has found his stroke from 3 while being fouled, that's dangerous territory for Michigan. They cannot let Love get hot. He had a 30-point game in the NCAA tournament this March. His free throw, though, is short. Love, 1 for 3 from the free throw line, rebounded by Michigan. The game is still tied at 28, about 5 minutes remaining in the first half. It's been a very entertaining game from both sides. Some scuffles, some nice shot making, and nice defense. Jet Howard's got it on the left wing. Gets a screen set from a fellow freshman, Reed. Pulls up for 3. It's barely short. Williams on the rebound. Basketball hangs up on the rim, but it comes down to Carolina. R.J. Davis doesn't choose to push the pace here. Black in the right corner. Davis gets it back. Davis, nice crossover on the recently checked in Jace Howard. Stops at the free throw line, pivots back out, Leaky Black. Love gets it. Now Baycott above the 3-point line. We saw this play earlier. Couple players working from the wings. Love gets it back just inside the 3-point line. His shot rims out. Rebound to Terrence Williams. 4.5 to go now. Howard on the right wing. Juwan Howard just pleading for a foul off ball on Kobe Buffkin. Howard works inside anyways, though, and flips up a nice layup. Howard's got 12 points so far tonight.
Michigan able to reassume the lead, 30-28, just over 4 minutes left in the half.
Inside pass to Baycott from Davis is scored by Baycott and one. And a correction on that last play, Jet Howard has 10 points.
Michigan, that's their 8th foul of the half. So even, it was a shooting foul, but even if it weren't, would send UNC to the line.
So Carolina in the bonus. Doesn't matter as this was an and-one shooting foul. Baycott with the team leading game high. 12 points for Carolina, makes it 13. And UNC has taken the lead for the first time in quite a while. Full court press initiated by Carolina, broken by Jace Howard. He's got numbers, but is not quick in getting the ball to Terrence Williams. It goes back up top to Kobe Buffkin. Buffkin initiating the offense. Guarded tightly by R.J. Davis there at the side logo near the coach's box. Buffkin doubled, gets the basketball away, finds its way to the left corner. Williams drives inside. Pull-up jumper, a fadeaway from Williams is no good, rebounded by Carolina. The Tar Heels are out and running. Davis pickpocketed by a combination of Jace Howard and Kobe Buffkin, but it ends up with Caleb Love, who flips up a layup. It's good. And in the full court press, scrum for it, Seth Trimble almost comes away with the basketball. And it'll stay with the Wolverines. Excellent effort, though, by the freshman to almost come away with that. Carolina now has a 3-point lead. Michigan does have the ball. We've reached the under 4 timeout.
UNC has all the momentum at the moment, and Michigan only trailing by 3. Feels like it should be a lot more. Michigan is just losing control of this game. For most of this first half, Michigan's been solidly in command. In the last 2 minutes, last 3 minutes, it's been all North Carolina. 4 of their last 5 from the field. And you know what the real inflection point was? It was those technical fouls. Michigan ended up getting off the hook. They did not, the fouls offset, no additional shots. Dickinson got to stay in the game. But despite that, since then, UNC has really ran away with the momentum. The entire lower bowl of the crowd is on their feet. Just looking at the free throws, Michigan, they're 4 for 5 in this game. UNC, 4 for 9. So UNC is getting those chances from the charity stripe. They're just unable to connect. And despite that, they're still leading by 3 with 3 minutes and some change in this first half.
We've got a T-shirt toss going into the crowd. And Adam's going to continue that Jumpman Invitational history, leading off from Michigan having their first game beating Hawaii 63-6 with the Jumpman logo.
63-6, and they had Derek Jeter and Woodson and Woodley. All 3 of them were sponsored by Jumpman as individual athletes, especially Jeter. He was their first baseball athlete, and he was a big name. Michigan alumni, didn't graduate or even play for the team. But that brings us over to 2017. UNC, the other team in this game, was the second Jumpman program to get involved both for football and basketball. Extend that even further. Later that year, 2017, Oklahoma signs with Jumpman. And then closing out 2017 in December, Florida signs, being the 4th program in the nation. So all 4 of those teams, big programs in their respective conference, on the Jumpman brand. That's getting in the media timeout. We'll pick up later at halftime as we have 3 minutes and 23 seconds left, and the teams finish up the huddle.
And the Jumpman Invitational is set to go for 2 more years after this in 2023 and 2024. These 4 teams will come back, but the matchups will be changed so that next year Michigan could play Florida or Oklahoma.
I have a feeling they'll put Florida. Michigan and Florida just have so much bad blood.
But they got to play all of them eventually.
Yeah. And there's rumors, nothing finalized, but online, of UCLA getting engaged in this Jumpman. Since the Jumpman Invitational was organized, UCLA did sign with Jumpman as well, being the first Pac-12 team, and they are a blue blood in basketball as well.
We're back to play. Kobe Buffkin has it for Michigan at the center court logo. Gets a screen from Williams, and Buffkin's cut off, trapped by Puff Johnson and R.J. Davis. A foul is called on Puff Johnson. That's Johnson's second foul. And with Michigan in the bonus, Kobe Buffkin will have a 1-and-1 free throw attempt.
Michigan could not have asked for a better guy from the line, especially with the 1-and-1 chance. Making both of these would do wonders in tightening the gap. First one's up, in and out. UNC gets the rebound.
And who else would get the rebound but Armando Bacot, inching closer to passing Tyler Hansbrough for the all-time lead in defensive rebounds in Tar Heel history. He's a few more away. We'll check that number when we get to it. R.J. Davis makes a nice couple moves and nails a three from the top of the three-point line. UNC, their biggest lead of the game is 6. 13-2 run over the last 2 and change minutes. 3 of the last 3 from the field. Ball finds its way to Jace Howard in the right corner. His three-pointer goes long. Rebounded by the Tar Heels. Comes to R.J. Davis. Bacot working against Terrence Williams. Had a mismatch. Passed it out. Puff Johnson working from that right corner. Now backing down Jace Howard. Turnaround hook shot from the left block. Rebounded by Terrace Reed. Just under 2.5 minutes. Jet Howard has the basketball in front of the right wing, very ahead of the three-point line, picked up and guarded well by Seth Trimble. Trimble, a much smaller player than Jet Howard. Terrace Reed has it now on the left block. Working against Armando Bacot. Reed's shot flipped up off the left side, picked up by R.J. Davis. Davis has it, attempts a crossover dribble, loses it, has to pass it to Bacot, who's got it. Far away in the right corner, works all the way inside to the block, and Bacot puts it up, almost has another and one. And Armando Bacot is just so strong inside. As soon as Dickinson has come out of the ball game, Bacot has been attacking Terrace Reed, the backup big man for Michigan.
And we've seen this all season. Dickinson could hold his own, 7'1". No one's messing with him. No one's getting above him, and no one's really fouling him too much. But when he goes to the bench, and he goes pretty often, he's consistently the first one out in any game, opponents just really exploit that mismatch.
Bacot misses the first free throw. He's got 2. He was 1 for 1 previously. Bacot, a 65.9% free throw shooter on the year. Carolina shooting 75% as a team. They've only hit that mark 2 other times in their history, in the late 2000s and once in the early 90s. Substitution for North Carolina. Jalen Washington comes in, number 13, who hasn't seen that much burn this season, but he's the backup big that comes in for Bacot. North Carolina has Tyler McCoy, the former Virginia player, also on the bench, but he has also not seen that much playing time either. But Bacot gets a blow with 1.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Buffkin trapped once again, finds Terrace Reed. Reed dives inside and leaves the layup short. Reed had a wide open bunny and he blew it. Rebound came to North Carolina and a Tar Heel hit the floor. The foul will go on Michigan. Check the number, it's Jace Howard.
Coach's son, Coach Howard's not too happy about that, talking to both his own son and the referee about what happened there. But honestly, that's on Michigan. 2 straight missed shots from Reed, both of them wide open, both of them had a good look. 0 for 5 of the last 5 shots for the Wolverines.
And Michigan has been fouling a lot. They have 10 team fouls, so North Carolina in the double bonus. Jalen Washington steps to the line. Another big that's not too great of a free throw shooter for North Carolina. Bricks the first one off the right side of the rim. He'll have the second one. Michigan now down by 7. They're 1 of their last 10, have not scored in nearly 3 minutes. Washington extends the lead to 8, nails that second free throw. But Carolina still only 5 for 12 from the free throw line tonight.
We got a 15-2 run for North Carolina right now.
Buffkin on the right wing trying to work it inside, finding some semblance of offense. He's got it. Flips up a shot from the left block, worked it all the way across the free throw line, and Buffkin puts in a nice shot to quiet the Carolina crowd.
Over a minute left, so likely 3 possessions, depending on how quickly these go.
Davis pulls up from the right wing, and he nails another 3. R.J. Davis, 3 of 4 from three-point land. He's got 9 points. Inside a minute now, Jet Howard trying to isolate against Seth Trimble. Trimble's done well in guarding Howard when he's been in the game. He's screened by Terrace Reed. Stays with Howard, though, now at the top of the key. Crowd on their feet. Terrence Williams has it, pass off Bufkin. Bufkin driving inside, bothered by Washington. Almost gets that basketball to get into the net, but Bufkin will go to the line for 2. There is 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock, 35.6 on the game clock. So Michigan could have an opportunity for another possession at the end of Carolina's. Down by 9, they need these 2 free throws to go down.
Going to the line for the Wolverines, Kobe Bufkin.
Once again, Michigan's best shooter at the line. He missed a 1-and-1 earlier. He'll get 2 right now.
And Carolina with 41 points tonight in the first half. Bufkin nails that first free throw to drop the deficit to 8. We've seen these big first halves from the marquee games that Michigan has played. Michigan has been to 3 NBA arenas so far this season. This is the 3rd. At LCA, they allowed 45 points in the first half to Eastern Michigan. In the second game of the Legends Classic at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, they allowed, again, another 45 points to Arizona State in the first half. And now they've given up 41 to Carolina, who still has 1 more possession to go. Bufkin makes those 2 free throws, is 5 of 6 from the line tonight. Michigan 5 for 7 as a team. 7 for 9 as a team. Davis gets the ball off the inbound, calls a timeout in front of the coach's box. Carolina will talk this one over, now has 27 seconds remaining on the shot clock for their last possession of the half.
That's the first timeout taken by either team so far tonight. Michigan just really getting sloppy in the final minutes of the half. It was looking like they could maybe go into the locker room with a lead, but just had the eyes set on the locker room too soon, and Carolina did not let up and really started to run away with it. Michigan brings it back within 7 and a chance at 1 final possession, as we have a 5-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. But not where the Wolverines want to be going into halftime, especially in what amounts to a road environment here.
And it was a short timeout. This first half has moved very quickly. We'll be done with it in almost under an hour. Not often you see that in today's game.
Especially, this is on basic cable. This is on ESPN today. The later game will be on ESPN2, and yesterday's game on ESPN2 as well. Carolina inbounds it, and they're going to milk the clock, quite literally just standing at the Jumpman logo at midcourt.
Davis is just standing there. He's got the ball at his hip, isn't even moving. Now sets his dribble. Chase Howard has him. Tyler Nickel has checked in the game, the freshman for North Carolina, his first playing time in the basketball game. Davis has it. A heat check 3 goes up just short. Is rebounded by Terrace Reed. Kobe Bufkin has it. Game clock winding down. He passed off a shot, and Terrence Williams nails the logo jumper, but the buzzer had sounded. Michigan escapes the first half after a disastrous back end of it. Only down 7, 34-41.
That's straight malpractice to get the rebound. At that timeout, UNC took a 30-second with 32 seconds and 27 left on the game clock. You know you'll get the ball back with, at very least, 4 or 5 seconds. You need to have a play drawn up or something to go and put you down the court, get a shot up, and Michigan just had nothing. When they finally did get the shot off, granted the buzzer had sounded and the defense had relented, it landed. But that would have been huge, both in terms of momentum and points, to narrow this gap and make it a 4-point game. Now Michigan goes into the locker room trailing by 7, far from insurmountable. We've seen it earlier, as you mentioned, you were broadcasting from LCA, where Michigan had a pretty solid comeback against Eastern. Granted, Eastern and UNC are 2 completely different programs, but Michigan does have their work cut out for them in the second half.
And after a cold shooting start, North Carolina finally gets back to some good shooting numbers. They're still shooting awful from the free throw line, though. 5 for 12, good for a 42% clip. but 6 for 12 from 3, 47% from the field, 15 of 32. Michigan, on the other hand, 13 of 32 from the field, good for 40.6%, only hitting a quarter of their threes, 2 for 8. 6 of 8 from the free throw line, which is an improvement on their season average. They only hit in the mid-60s percentage-wise on their free throws so far this season. It's led a lot by Kobe Buffkin. He's 4 for 5 from the line, and Buffkin has 10 points for the Wolverines. That leads them. Baycott, 14 for North Carolina.
We're going to try something that's new for the station, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We're going to declare a WCBN official MVP for tonight's game on the Wolverines. So we got 3 candidates on your screen right now: Hunter Dickinson, Kobe Buffkin, and Jet Howard. And we'll have the stats be broadcast out, and we'll let you know how each of them are doing. And this is actually an opportunity for you to vote for who you think is best. So first, let's start with Kobe Buffkin, 10 points, leading the team, 3 for 5 from the field, including 4 for 5 from the free throw line. Unfortunately for the Wolverines, a 1 miss was on a 1-and-1. Additionally has 2 defensive rebounds and only 1 foul in this game. Next up on the Wolverines, and for a potential MVP, is Hunter Dickinson. We put together this graphic earlier, and we did not know how his foul trouble would be in that personal foul situation. He only has 2 points in this one, 1 for 5 from the field, including 2 defensive rebounds, but 2 personal fouls and a technical. And then finally, closing out the vote, we got Jet Howard, who has 10 points of his own, so tied for the team high with teammate Kobe Buffkin. 4 for 6 from the field, including 2 for 3 from the line. So very shortly in the YouTube comments, we will put a poll and you could vote. And at the end of the game, we will announce a winner and declare them the official WCBN broadcast MVP. And for those listening at home, unfortunately, you won't be able to vote unless you go to YouTube. So feel free to pull out your phone or your computer and look up WCBN Sports on YouTube.com, and you could go vote in a moment. Also, we would like to take this time and thank everyone for listening, especially those over the FM airwaves from Lansing all the way to Detroit and Southeast Michigan on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. We got 12 minutes and some change here at the halftime intermission. We could only speculate what Coach Howard is telling the Wolverines, but I can't imagine he's too happy with how his team finished out that half. Not a pretty sight for the Wolverines. They were leading for most of this game, and just the back end of that first half, they gave up a really devastating run, 15-2 run for the Tar Heels, and Wolverines were able to close the deficit a little bit, bring it within 7 at the very end of the half, but not a pretty sight for the Wolverines. We have, at this halftime intermission, Michigan is trailing 41-34. And the name of the game has really been fouls. I think I speak for everyone in this arena. If I'd estimate probably close to 16 or 17,000 fans in attendance today at the Spectrum Center where the Hornets played. I think everyone would agree the most exciting moment was that scrum between the Wolverines and the Tar Heels. Ultimately, it didn't even really matter in terms of points. We had 4 technicals issued, 2 apiece, so no additional shots were levied, much to the annoyance of many of the Tar Heel fans in attendance. So it wasn't a sight, but even though that didn't change the game directly, the momentum shifter for the Tar Heels was huge. And that's when their 15-2 run really took flight.
And Adam, you mentioned those offsetting technicals. Carolina only hit 1 of their free throws, so they ended up with 1 point after that. and Michigan escaped with minimal damage. However, damage was done by Carolina in the half-court offense. A couple pull-up threes from R.J. Davis, some inside moves from Caleb Love. Carolina pulls ahead by 7, and Michigan had a shot in this game to really pull away in that first half. For most of it, they kept Carolina at an arm's length, but that was just enough space for Carolina to come back and put the hammer down. Now only up by 7, Carolina will have to salt this game away, or Michigan is liable to come back. We haven't seen Hunter Dickinson a lot since those technical fouls were assessed. He was pulled out of the ball game since he had 2 fouls. Right now, the rebounding load has fallen on the shoulders of Terrence Williams II, who has 8 tonight. And we mentioned earlier that Armando Bacot was close to Tyler Hansbrough, the former UNC great who led the Tar Heels to the 2009 national title. Bacot is 6 rebounds away from tying Hansbrough's all-time mark of 737 defensive rebounds. He came into this game, Bacot did, at 731, so he needs 7 to pass Hansbrough. He's got 4 in the first half. Sam Perkins, who played for UNC in the late 80s, is second all-time in total boards. He could have registered more defensive rebounds than either of these 2 players, but that stat was not tracked. So we'll monitor that as the game goes on, because it's a big milestone for Bacot. He's only a junior. He's played these 3 seasons at North Carolina, but he's been so good. Excuse me, he's a senior. He's played 3 big, impactful seasons for Carolina.
So we discussed it a little bit during some of the media timeouts. We're going to go back to some of this Jumpman history. We had these 4 programs where we left off, each signed, and then they signed in 2015, 2016, and then 2017 for Michigan as the first, UNC as the second, Oklahoma as the third, and then Florida closing out the 4th. All 4 of those teams have been assembled for this tournament. Michigan playing UNC, and then Florida playing Oklahoma. We then go into the advance. Since then, we've had 8 teams join the Jumpman brand. And notice how we have 1 team in each of the major conferences. And by and large, it's probably one of the largest, if not the most popular brands in each conference. We got Michigan from the Big Ten, UNC from the ACC, Oklahoma from Big 12, Florida from SEC, UCLA from the Pac-12. All of these are the biggest brands in their respective conferences. Add in Houston from the American Conference, Marquette from the Big East, and then Howard from the MEAC. And those are 8 of the most prized brands in college sports. You know how Jumpman himself, Michael Jordan, is such an exclusive brand in his own right. He only wanted the best universities and the biggest brands to have his logo on their uniform, so he really did that. And that brings us to this tournament. We got the women's Michigan playing UNC yesterday, and Florida's men and Oklahoma's men playing yesterday. And then today, the Michigan men playing North Carolina's men, and Florida's women playing Oklahoma's women after this. In the first ever Jumpman Invitational, it's been a real sight here in Charlotte. They already extended this for another 2 years, and there's talk of them adding more teams. I'm curious if they will expand it. There's 8 teams with the Jumpman brand that will make a pretty perfect 8-man tournament if they decide.
And it'd be a lot of fun adding UCLA and Houston and Marquette. Those are big basketball schools, and then giving more exposure to Howard, which is an HBCU, would be really cool. Howard and schools like Jackson State have made a bigger push in big-time college athletics, and they used to be a big part. I mean, Walter Payton went to an HBCU school. There's a number of other football Hall of Famers that went to schools like that. It'll be cool to see those kind of teams, and I, for one, hope that it's an 18 tournament over the next 2 years. I think that would be really cool. Yeah. You could set it up round robin or a straight bracket to have a championship game.
And this tournament is unique that all 4 teams have both the men and the women playing. You don't see that a lot, even though tournaments, especially early in the season, are very common in college basketball. There's no continuity between the men and women's programs, and it really surprises me because not only does it build continuity between those 2 brands and those 2 teams in the same university, it also seems like an opportunity to save some money. Michigan's men and women flew down together I'm surprised it's not more often, especially when equity and Title IX is such a big importance in college athletics over the past couple of years. I definitely think the Jumpman Invitational is a pioneer in that respect.
And they definitely want to be a pioneer. We've heard interviews with their founders. The Charlotte Sports Foundation is also helping run this event. The branding has been cool across Spectrum Center. Aside from the big Hornet logos that can't be removed, they've put up a lot of banners and tarps. The court is completely different. It's black and white with the school's logo. It's not the Hornets' home court. To make this really seem like an inclusive event for these schools and not some afterthought, it's been a lot of fun. But the branding's been great. We've seen a lot of these pictures and this cursive font that's seen all over the Spectrum Center. It's shown on the Jumbotron, these really cool photo shoots on a velvet background of the 4 schools' men's and women's team.
The Queen City. You need the velvet royalty in the background.
Well, something that was just strange is that they were playing the house that Cassie built hype montage that plays at Chrysler Center before Michigan home games, and it was Jalen Rose up there saying, "This is the house that Cassie built, but we're in Charlotte."
Yeah,
I don't really understand that, but they played it. I don't think Carolina played a hype video. Last night they did play a promotional video that included a lot of their famous Carolina athletes, including Michael Jordan, that said, "We are Tar Heels." That got a big ovation, but now trying to get the Michigan crowd back into it, down by 7.
You mentioned how these programs have a lot of history between each other. These teams have played 9 times, and UNC leads 5-4, but all of those games came at the biggest events, biggest stage. They've never played outside of the NCAA tournament or some special invitational. Very first game, March 1987, second round. It was actually in Charlotte in the Charlotte Coliseum that got torn down about 15 years ago. We got Michigan lost to the number 2 team in the nation, 109-97. Then we advanced to the very next season. They faced off again in the Sweet 16 in Seattle in the Kingdome. North Carolina won once again, number 7 versus number 10 in the nation. We had the Tar Heels won 78-69. They faced again the very next year, so 3 straight years, 3 straight NCAA tournaments. Michigan finally won in 1989 en route to their very first national title, and this was in Lexington, Kentucky, as they beat Carolina 87-92, and Michigan was actually the underdogs in that one. You have to advance a couple years to the Fab Five, where Michigan played in Honolulu, and they won with a buzzer beater from none other than Jalen Rose. So Jalen Rose got that in Honolulu. They won 79-78. That wasn't the only time those teams faced off that season. They played in March Madness in April 1993 for the tournament, and that is when Michigan fell to North Carolina in the very infamous Weber. I think all Michigan fans know that. I don't need to explain, in the Superdome. After that, they did not play until 2017 in Chapel Hill as the ACC Big Ten. Michigan fell to Carolina, 13th ranked. Played the following season in Ann Arbor. Michigan won that at home, big time. Played in Atlantis in the Bahamas. Michigan won en route to winning that tournament. Final game in the ACC Big Tournament last season. And that brings us to the closing history of this. Michigan trails 4-5 in the overall series between these two historic programs. Including tonight's game, all 10 games were meetings between Michigan and North Carolina. Were at neutral sites. And tonight is actually the first night where neither team is ranked in the AP Top 25.
We're a minute away from game time resuming the second half. The basketball will go to Carolina first. Michigan won the tip. So with Carolina up by 7 points, they'll get the basketball first. Michigan needs to shoot better, and they need to play better defense. It's really as simple as that. They've been fouling a lot. Luckily for them, Carolina has not been good in converting their free throw attempts. But in every other facet, Carolina efficient from the field, making almost half their shots, making half of their three-point shots. That's been killer for Michigan. And the Wolverines on offense have not looked good. In an opposite sort of way, they're good from the line, better than they have been all season. But from the field, they're poor. From three, they're very poor, shooting only 25% right now. And Carolina not a great three-point shooting team. They only are converting, coming into this game, about 30% of their team threes. And in their losses, they were shooting under that at about 27%. But they are shooting hot tonight. Caleb Love 1 for 3. R.J. Davis 3 for 5. Love has been an efficient player tonight. He leads the team in scoring for Carolina, but shoots a lot and only shoots about 40% from the field. Tonight he's 4 for 8. Shoots 29% from three-point land. He's 1 for 3 tonight. He's shooting better than his averages, and he's kept it under control. Carolina also 18-0 in the last 2 seasons, 4-0 this season, when Love has 5 or more assists. He has 3 tonight, so that's a number we'll keep watching. Carolina undefeated over the last 2 years when Caleb Love reaches 5 assists. So not only is he a scorer, when he's a distributor, North Carolina very effective on offense.
Before we begin playing this second half, we appreciate everyone tuning into Student Radio, WCBN Sports on both YouTube and the FM airwaves, all the way from suburban Detroit to suburban Lansing in southeast Michigan on 88.3.
88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, simulcast on YouTube. We're back for the second half. Michigan has the basketball. Hunter Dickinson up top against Baycott, guarding it. From left to right comes Jet Howard. He's on the right wing now. Isolated against Baycott. Pull-up 3 from Howard. Rims out. Rebound comes down to Dickinson, but he's fouled by Pete Nance, the first foul of the second half.
Let's see if they give Dickinson the shot from the line. I don't think they will. I think it's from the ground.
It was pretty clear he didn't put anything back up.
Michigan ball.
And
this is key. We saw in the first half how much fouls were a factor.
that's Nance's second foul. Not exactly in foul trouble. Dickinson has it inside, puts a shot up affected by Baycott. Good defense from Armando Baycott. The shot rims out, comes away. R.J. Davis has it. Right corner Nance. Entry pass to Baycott on the right block. Working against Dickinson. Dickinson, poor position guarding Baycott, and it's an easy layup. Not much in the way to affect that shot from Dickinson. A double came from Kobe Buffkin. It doesn't matter. Armando Baycott back to the line for another and one attempt.
And this is just a very poor game from Dickinson, the captain and the leader on this team. Only 2 points. He's 1 for 6 from the field. Add on 3 fouls and a technical. Not a great day. Does have 3 rebounds.
Baycott misses the and one free throw attempt. That foul was assessed to Kobe Buffkin, so there's 4 Michigan starters with 2 fouls. Terrence Williams is the only one with a clean sheet right now. Williams has it on the left wing. His three-pointer is long, rebounded Caleb Love. Love to R.J. Davis on the right wing. Davis short. He was 3 for 5 from 3 in the first half. Misses that attempt. A follow-up shot is missed. And on the attempt to gather it, Hunter Dickinson steps out of bounds. With 18 on the shot clock, Carolina will retain the basketball.
Very physical play between Michigan and Carolina's big men. Referee has to kind of break them up for a moment, and they get back to shoving each other. And now they get broken up once again.
Dickinson has really not been great here for Michigan tonight, and he is hurting them further by aggravating the Carolina crowd and their team. He's fronting Baycott now. Pete Nance has it, works across the free throw line. Left wing, Leaky Black, now up top to Baycott. Seen this set a number of times with Baycott initiating the offense above the three-point line. R.J. Davis has it now up top. Tries to get a pass to the left wing to Pete Nance, but throws it out of bounds. Michigan basketball.
Michigan with a real break there. They'll get possession back, still trailing by 9.
About a minute and a half into the second half. 43-34. Terrence Williams has it. Pass to Dickinson all the way up top. Excuse me, that was McDaniel pass to Dickinson. McDaniel pulls up a long-range triple try. Short. Rebounded by Dickinson. He's fouled.
We'll have to see if he's able to make these shots from the line. Dickinson's been hit or miss from the free throw line this season.
And Coach Juwan Howard coaching from the sidelines, telling Chet Howard, his son, to get wide on defense, not let his man by him. And he also was motioning to Hunter Dickinson to slow down that attempt before he got fouled. He could have gone for the and one. Dickinson knocks down both free throws.
Now he's doubled his point total this game, and Michigan's has full court press, so they're getting desperate.
36-43. Carolina breaks the press, gets over the timeline. R.J. Davis has it on the right wing. Has to pick up his dribble. Finds Pete Nance. Nance from left to right. Handoff, Leaky Black. Finds its way to Caleb Love. Screen set, Baycott. Love looking to dump it down into Baycott. Turns it over. Swiped by the team leader in steals for Michigan, Kobe Buffkin. Pass away to Jet Howard. Howard working against the smaller Davis, and Howard sends it up and in.
I don't think that will be credited as a point. He will go to the line for 2 shots.
It looked like from our angle, we're at an angle here where that ball looked like it went in, but Howard fouled. He'll go to the line for 2, trying to cut this deficit to 5. Nails that first free throw. Now it's 6, 43-37. And these are Jets' first free throws of the ball game. Michigan really doing a good job making their free throw attempts. Second one knocked in for Jet Howard. Michigan is 10 of 12 from the line for a team that has really struggled. Their average in every other department but free throws and a few others has been very good. R.J. Davis has it. Left side, Leaky Black driving inside. Black, layup, good. Light defense played from Hunter Dickinson. Black gets right by him and puts it up and in. Black already beating his season scoring average. He's got 7 points now.
Inspired by the Jumpman logo. That shot was very Jumpman-esque.
5 points for Black. McDaniel, skip pass to Terrence Williams on the right wing, and Williams drains a 3. Terrence Williams has been slow starting on offense all season. He's been slow starting tonight. He was 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. Nails that one. Michigan back to only being down by 4. Williams on Black, and Black travels. On the right wing, a turnover for Carolina, gives it back to Michigan. And this is a real chance for Michigan to reclaim momentum, get this crowd back on their side, and pull even and even take the lead.
3 minutes into this half, 3 turnovers from Carolina.
McDaniel dangerous with the dribble, finds Williams, who now confidently drives in off the three-point shot, spins a layup off glass with some English. It falls short of the basket, and Carolina comes in transition. Baycott inside once again, nearly converts another and one. He's just spinning right off Dickinson. Dickinson not playing strong defense inside, and Baycott is back to the line for 2 more.
Not much Dickinson can do. He's just getting battered here. Tonight is not his night.
And the foul will go on Jet Howard, who came over to help Hunter Dickinson. That's Howard's 3rd foul. The freshman has been in foul trouble a number of times this season, and with his 12 points, the Wolverines cannot lose his production. Baycott has 16 points tonight. Nails that first free throw.
Lead is back to 5 where it has been for a couple moments.
We've been mentioning across this game, Baycott now at 5 defensive rebounds. Only needs 1 to tie Tyler Hansbrough for the UNC all-time lead, 2 to pass. Second free throw for Baycott. Goes down. He'd been struggling, only 2 for 4 from the line. Now gets it up to 4 for 6. 47-41. 16.5 minutes remaining in the second half. The Carolina crowd up on their feet once again. A reminder, even though this is a neutral site game, it's in Charlotte. Whole lot of Tar Heels. Buffkin's got the ball in the corner. He nails a 3. Kobe Buffkin silences the Tar Heel crowd by knocking in a 3 from that right corner.
After several minutes of full court press, Michigan relents.
Baycott, fadeaway jumper, hits it. Good defense there from Dickinson that time, but nothing you can do on a fall-away jumper that pure.
Terrible shot selection, but there was a magnet in the net.
Baycott now with 20 points to lead this game. McDaniel on the left wing, finds Dickinson. Back cut from Howard, the pass is batted away by Baycott. Bats off a couple more players, makes its way to the sidelines, stays with Michigan. We've reached the under-16 timeout here in the second half.
For those listening at home, Michigan trails 44-49. They're not giving up without a fight, however. Down by 5 total, and Michigan is far from where they were when they were dominantly in control, but they're feel very comfortable trading points here. And I'm curious if they bring back the full court press. That was very fruitful for the Wolverines. They got 3 turnovers in under 3 minutes of play. Juwan Howard talking to his team in the huddle, and at the Jumpman Invitational, that does remind us that Coach Howard has a little bit of an interesting relationship with the Jumpman himself, Michael Jordan. 1994, Howard, coming out of Michigan, was drafted by the Washington Bullets. 2 seasons later, had a dominant rookie and sophomore season in the NBA, selected to an NBA All-Star team, second team All-Rookie, and he earns the first ever $100 million contract in the NBA. First ever out of any player. It was just the way the league was trending at the time, and he was the lucky man to get it. At that time, they changed their name to the Wizards in D.C. And in 2000, Michael Jordan becomes president of basketball operations for the Wizards. What's his very first notable move as a guy for the Wizards? He trades Juwan Howard over to the Mavericks in a blockbuster 8-team trade for cash considerations.
And Adam, I'm sorry I distracted you.
Yeah.
We've been told by the ushers where Michael Jordan sits in this arena. He's possibly to our right. We don't know if he's here tonight. It is a packed box up there, so it's possible he's here. They told us that he likes to stay hidden from the crowd so people don't mob him. It's understandable.
I would have to imagine he's here. It's his alma mater playing, his stadium. He owns the Hornets. His brand, his ESPN brand, this is a celebration of him as a person and all of his accomplishments in life, short of his stint in minor league baseball.
And the interesting thing about that trade of Juwan Howard to Dallas, it was for the opposing coach tonight, Hubert Davis. He was traded to Washington in that deal, along with Christian Laettner, who went to Washington, another
that might
big-time,
be the one
big-name
thing
player.
Michigan and UNC fans could agree on is their hatred towards Christian Laettner. UNC fans hate him for being a Dookie and one of the most hated Dookies around. Michigan hates him personally for beating them very bluntly and not even close in the 1992 title game, the freshman year of the Fab Five. So Juwan has some personal beef with Laettner.
It's another matchup for Michigan between 2 head coaches who are alumni from their alma maters. Hubert Davis is born and raised in North Carolina, went to school at Chapel Hill, graduated there, went to the NBA, as we said, was traded eventually for Juwan Howard. Howard played for the Fab Five at Michigan, and they are one of 2 of it's around 50 coaches that coach for their alma maters in Division I basketball right now. Michigan had already faced off against Stan Heath, who coached his alma mater, the Eastern Michigan Eagles, at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit about a month or 2 ago. So another cool matchup between coaches, and in this instance, when these coaches played in the NBA, they were traded for each other. It's not often you can say that. But Michigan, down by 5, they have the basketball after an out-of-bounds call went their way. Jet Howard, floater from the free throw line off a Doug McDaniel pass is short, rebounded by Pete Nance. Nance brings it up for the Tar Heels. Love has it on the left wing. Love has not gotten active in this second half after a 10-point first half. Back cut from R.J. Davis, a beautiful pass from Armando Bacot, skipped to him. Davis long on the looping layup, but is fouled on the other end, attempting to grab the rebound.
Foul charge. Michigan's number 5, Terrence Williams, the second.
It's going to be on Terrence Williams. Third foul of the half. Something to keep in mind, we still got 15 minutes and some change of play. And if the first half was any indication, that could be huge for whichever team is leading in the foul game going to the line late in this one. First shot is up, and that's drained from Davis. UNC extends their lead to 6 points as they break the 50-point threshold here.
And Carolina, Michigan, on the other hand, lucky to get that foul registered to Terrence Williams, who only has that 1 foul so far tonight. Jet Howard has 3. Buffkin, Dickinson, and McDaniel all have 2 fouls. Seth Trimble checks into the game for North Carolina. He checks Doug McDaniel at full court. McDaniel calls from a screen for Dickinson, quickly dives in, and a foul on the floor on Armando Bacot, trying to stay with the speedy McDaniel. McDaniel flipped that shot in, but the foul comes before.
Unfortunate break for the Wolverines, as it wasn't even a shooting foul. So Michigan is fortunate to get the foul up.
And it is the third foul on Armando Bacot with 15 minutes left in this game. That's a big deal. And you could see Michigan try to go inside more to Hunter Dickinson to get Bacot further in foul trouble.
I could totally see that as this game winds down.
Dickinson inside on Bacot. He does it, and he puts it in. Bacot can't play strong defense on him with those 3 fouls. Dickinson flips it up and in, his first field goal since the opening minutes of the first half. He's only got 6 points. Trimble has it, the freshman. Entry pass Bacot. Bacot on the right block, working inside against Dickinson. Almost gets there. Nobody boxes out Leaky Black, though, rebounding that ball and dunking it home. McDaniel, again, guarded closely by Seth Trimble from the inbounds. Both zeros, freshman point guards. McDaniel eventually gets inside. He's fouled on the jump shot. Seth Trimble got him on the arm. McDaniel will head to the line. Michigan down by 7, 53-46, 14:36 remaining in the second half.
That's going to be a shooting foul. Give Michigan 2 shots from the line. Tar Heels racking up the fouls recently, already up to 5. And it's only 14 minutes left in this game. Rather, we still have 14 minutes left.
And these fouls are keeping the Wolverines in the ball game. They're now 11 of 13 from the line. McDaniel, who has slid into that starting point guard spot after Jalen Llewellyn tore his ACL against Kentucky in London. He misses the second free throw, though, but he'd only been shooting about 78% from the line. Michigan now 11 of 14 from the charity stripe. It's kept Michigan in this game. They're still shooting poorly, under 40% from the field, 30.8% from 3. And it won't be any better when Armando Bacot gets an easy pocket pass inside for another dunk for North Carolina. And the Tar Heel crowd is really into this game now. Michigan attempting to get a timeout called. They finally do. 14:08 remaining. Carolina crowd on their feet here in Charlotte. Michigan down by 8.
Michigan trailing 47-55 here in Carolina. And UNC's running away with this. At the very best, Michigan is trading points, and that just doesn't seem to be a recipe for success in how the trajectory of this game is going. As we said, it's a neutral site, technically in Charlotte at the Bobcats court, but the Hornets court. But this is, for all intents and purposes, a UNC home game. Looking at the crowd, it's filled out. I'd say probably 80% attendance here, at least in their seats. I'm sure they've sold out more. Very much populated in white and blue for UNC. Couple of kernels of maize, couple of dark blue, but not a ton. It makes sense. UNC is just 90 minutes down the road on I-85. Michigan's a lot further, as both of us know, having driven from Ann Arbor over the past couple of days.
Definitely, it's a lot farther than Chapel Hill. Sitting to the left of us is North Carolina's paper. The Michigan Daily is here tonight for us. But Adam, how has it been so far here in Charlotte? It's been a lot of fun.
I love coming down to Charlotte. My uncle and my cousin live in Ballantyne, a suburb of Charlotte. They actually have a small business in suburban Charlotte, right on the other side of the state line in South Carolina. So it's always a real pleasure to spend Hanukkah here in Charlotte area with my family. But is this your first time coming down to the Queen City?
This is my first time in Charlotte, not my first time in North Carolina. A couple years ago I went to Asheville, but we ended up going around Charlotte. Also on this trip, I've been to Charleston, South Carolina. I've been to Columbia, South Carolina. Charleston to see my cousin graduate from college. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, and tell the listeners what you'll be doing on Saturday.
And Saturday, I will be at Bank of America Stadium on Christmas Eve to see the Detroit Lions attempt to solidify a playoff spot against the Carolina Panthers.
I'm not much of a Lions fan, but I'll be rooting for them because I want to see the Bucs make the playoffs, and the Panthers are probably the biggest threat in the South behind the Bucs.
It'll be a lot of fun. Later in the week, I'll be down in Hilton Head for a wedding. That's the whole reason I'm down here really tonight. Just so happened that Michigan playing in this Jumpman Invitational 14:08 remaining in the second half. 55-47 the score right now. Michigan has the basketball. Kobe Buffkin with it, set to inbound. Fronted by Caleb Love. The horn blows and we're back underway. McDaniel quickly jukes away Seth Trimble to receive the inbounds pass. Trimble not as tight on him as he's been before. Buffkin receives it at the left wing, guarded by Love. Jet Howard flashes out to the top of the three-point line and nails a triple. Michigan back to only a 5-point deficit. Jet Howard, another three ball, goes down for him. He's 3 for 5 from that territory tonight.
Beautiful shot, back to the rim, front of the iron, went in.
Love, errant with his dribble, stolen by Jet Howard. Howard in a trap, gets a timeout off safely. And Michigan down by 5 now has the basketball. 13.5 minutes remaining in the second half.
I'm puzzled by using that timeout. They only have one left after using that, and they might need this late in the game if this stays close.
Yeah, and UNC has 3 timeouts. It's a bit of a head-scratcher without the context being that Howard was trapped in that situation, and he did not want to lose that basketball. He was right in front of his father, so he probably wanted him to call a timeout.
His father knows all about calling timeouts against UNC,
yeah, well,
to say the least.
We won't get into that. Chris Webber is not in the building tonight. We won't disparage him.
You don't know. He could be here supporting his former teammate.
Another four-man who is here is Antoine Jamison.
Yeah.
I know he's here tonight. So a lot of legends. Carmelo Anthony was here last night, and Thomas Davis.
I wonder, they got to show Jordan if he's in attendance. At least show him on the Jumbotron in the box.
We all know everybody's looking for him, but like I said, Thomas Davis, the former Panther linebacker great, was here last night sitting courtside, as well as Roy Williams, the old coach of the Tar Heels before Hubert Davis stepped in. Back underway. Michigan has the basketball. Howard ends up back with it. He's fouled on the floor by Leaky Black. A blocking foul on Black, and that'll be his second foul of the ball game. Both of these starting lineups in foul trouble. 3 players for North Carolina with 2. Baycott has 3. Caleb Love only has 1 foul. McDaniel, Dickinson, and Buffkin still have 2. Williams has 1. Jet Howard has 3.
And that foul's going to add some time to the shot clock as well. Michigan was inching it down.
And R.J. Davis comes in for Leaky Black. So with Black off the floor, Caleb Love steals it. Love, slam dunk. A huge, emphatic dunk from Caleb Love, who made a steal in transition and made Michigan pay dearly. Not only is Michigan back to being down by 7, the crowd is back engaged in this game after Michigan had a chance to steal momentum.
That's a 4 or even 5-point swing right there. Losing possession and then giving up the dunk.
McDaniel trying to enter into Dickinson. Dickinson passes out of the post, finds Howard. His three-pointer rims out. Love in transition on the right side. Caleb Love. Pete Nance, top of the three-point line, finds Baycott. Baycott inside, puts it in. And UNC on the brink of another big scoring run to extend their lead. McDaniel has to quiet it down, and Michigan needs a bucket here to stay in this one. With that timeout called previously, there's no help for Michigan on the sidelines. Buffkin has it on the left wing, and Baycott draws a foul on Hunter Dickinson. An offensive foul charged to Dickinson. His third of the ball game. Baycott was very happy to get that call his way. And Hunter Dickinson continues to draw these off-ball fouls, and that'll send him to the bench once again. Terrace Reed out there for Michigan.
Another unforced error, and this swing is going well into the Tar Heels' way. And the fans are excited, too. That's the most important thing of this run, especially that slam dunk. Everyone in the lower bowl is on their feet.
59-50, 12.5 minutes remaining. Seth Trimble has it. Top of the three-point line. Finds Baycott inside. Good defense from Terrace Reed. Sends it wide, and Reed comes away with the rebound. Buffkin in transition slows it down. At the left wing, screen set Reed. Buffkin finds Joey Baker in the corner. Pump fake. Gets by Love. Joey Baker. Nice move to get inside for the layup.
Baker finally getting something done against his former rival, UNC, as you mentioned. He had not gotten any playing time whenever Duke played Carolina.
R.J. Davis has it for North Carolina. Inside, Caleb Love has it. His layup, good. Really good defense from Jet Howard. But the ball just goes over his head. Carolina goes back up by 9, 61-52. 11.5 left. Baker fakes the ball screen for Buffkin. Terrace Reed sets one. Buffkin gets his man spinning and knocks in a three. What a move from Kobe Buffkin.
When it rains, it pours. The offensive spigot is open for both teams now.
Beautiful move from the sophomore guard. He's keeping Michigan in this game without their star big man, Hunter Dickinson. Long three from Caleb Love, a heat check. It's long off the back iron. Rebound comes to Joey Baker. He's out running quickly. Pulls up from three. Off the side of the rim, put back in off the rebound from Jet Howard. Howard's got a team-high 17 points in this game. And Michigan, 4 of their last 5 from the field. Carolina, 5 of their last 6. But the Wolverines draw within 4.
Yeah, and that one miss was just that deep 3 heat check for Carolina.
Driving inside, R.J. Davis trying to get under the basket for a reverse layup. Goes off the foot of Kobe Buffkin. Stays with Carolina. 61-57, 10.5 minutes left. We've reached another media timeout. This will be the under 12 timeout. You are listening to 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, or we are live on YouTube for our viewers on the internet. Adam, what a series for both of these teams. Michigan comes out, I'd say, on top, even though Carolina's hot shooting. Michigan does not allow the Tar Heels to push that lead further than 4.
Yeah, to keep it within 4 at this point in the game, essentially 75% done, is a huge dub. 4 points you could make up in 20 seconds if needed. You could do it off of one shot, theoretically. Just the whole team seems to be firing, except Hunter Dickinson, but even he was on the bench. We're trying something new this year for WCBN. In this game, we're piloting it. We're going to do a WCBN MVP vote. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to vote. And we'd love to see who is earning Michigan's MVP among the 3 pictured here. We got Hunter Dickinson, Kobe Buffkin, and Jet Howard. You got some stats pulled up from all 3 of those, so I want to hear first the stats and then who do you think should be MVP.
So it's a really tough race. Hunter Dickinson has been on the bench for a lot of this game, and I don't know if he deserves it as much. He's only got 6 points. He's got 3 fouls, had a number of turnovers, isn't really rebounding well, but Kobe Buffkin and Jet Howard have been the tandem that have kept the Wolverines in it. Jet Howard, 17 points, 6 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. He's got 2 rebounds and an assist, does have 3 personal fouls and 2 turnovers, but 2 steals and 1 block in 24 minutes of play so far. Buffkin in his 25 minutes, 16, 2, and 1, 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 4 of 5 from the line. It's really close. It's going to come down to it. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments section below on our YouTube page.
And before I reveal, who do you think the MVP is? I know we're supposed to be even-handed, but as an analyst of this game, I would have to say Kobe Buffkin gets my vote. But we want to hear from you. Currently, here's the totals. We got 23% for Hunter Dickinson, 50% for Kobe Buffkin, and 27% for Jet Howard. Let us know what you think it is, and keep voting as this game continues to progress.
Well, we've got 10.5 minutes in the second half, and I think those minutes will be crucial to decide not only this WCBN MVP award, which in the grand scheme of things, Michigan fans want Michigan to win no matter at what cost. But Buffkin and Howard have both been spectacular to keep Michigan in this game without their leading scorer, Hunter Dickinson, present for most of the ball game. Terrace Reed will be back out there, along with Joey Baker, as the 2 Michigan forwards right now, along with Terrence Williams, Kobe Buffkin, and Doug McDaniel.
One thing to keep an eye on, Michigan only has 1 timeout left. This game remains to be close. That could be debilitating.
North Carolina basketball. Caleb Love has it in the left corner. Batted out of bounds by Kobe Buffkin. I mentioned earlier that he leads Michigan in steals with 1.5 per game. He's Michigan's most active perimeter defender. Not only that, but he's been great on offense so far tonight. He has a chance to be one of the most complete guards we've seen at the University of Michigan. Caleb Love has it, working on the right wing, driving inside, cuts on the left side. Good shot defense from Terrace Reed. He rebounds it. Doug McDaniel in transition, finds Buffkin. Buffkin hesitation, pull-up jumper, short. Rebound almost comes to Terrence Williams the second, but it's batted around, ends up touching R.J. Davis, going out of bounds. Wolverines basketball.
That was big brains from Williams the second to just let it go out. 20 seconds on the shot clock, still a lot of time to work with it here for the Wolverines.
And Williams has 8 total rebounds for the Wolverines so far tonight. You could argue that's another one. Off the inbounds pass, Joey Baker hot with the shot. It rims out from the mid-range along the left baseline. R.J. Davis on the right wing, working against Doug McDaniel, spins around him. Davis gets inside. A beautiful defensive attempt to stop him by Joey Baker and Terrace Reed, but better offense from R.J. Davis. Davis been cold in this second half. All 3 of his shot makes have come from three-point territory until that last bucket. He's got 13. McDaniel finds Bufkin. Bufkin lob pass to Terrace Reed, a layup, no good. Reed tries to get it back, keeps it, does not step out of bounds. Flashes out to the right wing, now driving inside against Puff Johnson. And Reed, just too big with his body, lowers the shoulder against the diving Johnson. It's a charge, goes against Terrace Reed, and a turnover.
Howard is visibly frustrated on the sideline here. Michigan trailing by 6, 63-57, under 10 minutes left. Can't afford to let this lead get any larger for the Tar Heels.
Leaky Black checks back in for North Carolina. Their best perimeter defender. He was 3rd in the ACC Defensive Player of the Year award voting a season ago. Seth Trimble has his pocket picked by the Wolverines. Taken away, Doug McDaniel. Running on the right side. Keeps his dribble back. Bufkin on the right wing. Passes up a 3. Finds its way back to McDaniel. Now slowed. Who gives it back to Bufkin. Very smart decision making from the Wolverines. Pull it out before taking an ill-advised shot. Bufkin driving inside, working against R.J. Davis. We'll see what the foul is on the floor. Kobe Bufkin ends up between the courtside seats, comes back out onto the floor. Davis clutching his face. And it seemed to me that Davis fouled Bufkin initially, and as Bufkin continued to work towards the basket, hit Davis in the face. But it will go on R.J. Davis.
Dickinson's going to check on in here. This is huge. I know Dickinson has not had a great game so far, but if Michigan hopes to win, just his presence on the hardwood is essential.
Davis' second foul. Michigan now in the single bonus. 17 fouls against North Carolina. Bufkin 4 for 5 from the line so far tonight. The best free throw shooter on Michigan. Joey Baker stays in the game along with Dickinson. Terrence Williams the second, Doug McDaniel. Big free throws here for Kobe Bufkin. The score is 63-57. 9 minutes left here in the second half from Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Michigan trying to sweep the Jumpman Invitational against the North Carolina Tar Heels. The women won here last night. The men trying to come back from a 6-point deficit. Bufkin's first free throw up and in. Nothing but net on that one. Second free throw to come now.
Bufkin up to 18 points here.
This one will be for 18 if he makes it. He was at 17 just before that. And it goes down. Another beautiful looking free throw for Bufkin.
I was just predicting the future right there.
Gets the score to 63-59. Michigan back to another position where they're down by 4. They have not been able to cut it to one possession. It stayed 2 possession until the Tar Heels have been able to get back on offense. A nice pass from R.J. Davis to the corner to Seth Trimble. His three-pointer is short. Rebounded by Kobe Bufkin. Bufkin driving against Trimble, pulls it back out. Dickinson motioning the offense. Ball in McDaniel's hands. 8.5 to go, 63-59. Wolverines with a chance to get this game to one possession. Bufkin on the left wing. Dickinson now has it on the left block. Pull up, face-up jumper is an air ball, and Dickinson has been ice cold from the field, not being able to contribute at all. R.J. Davis has it now for the Tar Heels. Michigan over their last 4 from the field. No field goals in the last 2.5 minutes. Davis, Trimble now. Baycott inside. Hasn't gotten a touch in a while. He has 24 points. Davis, pull-up three-pointer from the left wing. He nails it. That's been R.J. Davis's game all night. He's 4 for 7 from triple territory. And Davis has 16 points to be the Tar Heels' second leading scorer.
whole lower bowl on their feet after made one. Each huge shot by the Tar Heels is just a shot of adrenaline for the whole stadium.
McDaniel driving inside, flips it to Dickinson, and Dickinson walked with it when he got the basketball. He can't do anything right.
No, he could not. Michigan trailing 66-59, still within the realm of possibility. 7 minutes and 36 seconds remaining, but not looking good for the Wolverines, especially with UNC's ability to keep bouncing back and keep accelerating ahead and not giving up any fast breaks for the Wolverines and maintaining and even extending on their lead.
And these 3 balls going down for R.J. Davis is huge for North Carolina. Davis only shoots 28% from 3 on the season. He's nailed 4 of his 7 attempts. That's better than 50%. Carolina 44% from 3 as a team. I've mentioned this a couple times. They only shoot about 30%. And Davis is a steady hand. He's capable of these scoring outbursts. He had a 30-point game in the NCAA tournament last year, as well as a 10-assist game. He's been a steady hand at point guard for the last 3 years for the Tar Heels.
Certainly, and this Tar Heel team, the name of the game is continuity. They only lost 1 starter from the team that went to the national championship game last year. Michigan, on the other hand, year to year, especially since we had Jawan take over, has just had so much year-to-year turnover. The real consistent piece has been probably Dickinson is really the only constant there. The rest have gone. We had Diabate declared for the draft.
Michigan had 9 incoming players this year among the freshmen and the graduate transfers they acquired. So it was a lot of turnover. And it's been kind of a testament to the coaching of Juwan Howard that they've been able to stay in all these games, albeit it's been a bit disappointing of a start to the season. They're still here and have a chance to beat Carolina. They had a chance to beat Virginia at home a couple of weeks ago. The team is scrappy. They stay in these games. We'll see how the team evolves as we enter Big Ten play. Michigan only has 1 more non-conference game, December 29th against Central Michigan. They start the Big Ten slate on New Year's Day against Maryland. And this is North Carolina's final non-conference game, playing Michigan. They played back-to-back Big Ten opponents for the first time since the late 80s. Mentioned that game they won at Madison Square Garden in overtime against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, that's pretty epic to face the 2 biggest brands in the Big Ten back-to-back at NBA stadiums. Both Michigan and UNC have played in 3 separate NBA stadiums. For the Wolverines, they played in LCA, Barclays, and then now Spectrum. For UNC, they played in Portland, where the Blazers play, Madison Square Garden, and Spectrum tonight as well.
Leaky Black set to inbound to R.J. Davis for Carolina, awaiting the whistle. Michigan 0 of their last 4 from the field. No field goals over the last 3 minutes and change. 7.5 minutes to go. Michigan down 66-59. Carolina with the basketball, an attempt to salt away this game. Black has it on the right wing. Michigan now playing a zone on defense, trying to get Carolina to start shooting these threes and get their percentages to regress back to the mean. Caleb Love dives inside, is pushed out of bounds by Kobe Buffkin. That'll be Buffkin's 3rd foul.
Michigan up to 6, so almost in the bonus for the Tar Heels. Both teams fouling high. You know, there's a lot of passion and anger between these programs.
Lucky to not have seen a scuffle since that one in the first half with Dickinson and Caleb Love. Also involved McDaniel and Baycott. Right wing, Black. Pass out left wing, Nance for 3. Pete Nance has been quiet in this game. That 3 goes short of the rim, rebounded by Hunter Dickinson. Buffkin brings it up. Pass across to McDaniel, who crosses the midcourt logo. McDaniel working against R.J. Davis. Screen set Dickinson. Gets Davis off his spot. Crossover from McDaniel. Entry pass Dickinson. Dickinson on the block. Blocked by Baycott, but a foul is called. And Baycott can't believe it. That'll be Armando Baycott's 4th foul. He's got a team lead, game high, 24 points for Carolina. The Tar Heels cannot afford to lose him with 6:46 left in this game.
Not only that, He also has a technical to boot. One of 4 players dealt a technical foul after that battle earlier in the first half.
Dickinson will take 2 free throws, his 3rd and 4th attempts of the game. Nails that first one, cuts the deficit to 6. Puff Johnson comes in for Armando Bacot, so it's unlikely we see Bacot over the next few minutes. They want to save him for the closing seconds of this game, but that just means Dickinson has a chance to establish himself in this game. Misses the 2nd free throw, though, and Dickinson only 7 points, 2 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line.
Michigan down 6, but they're struggling offensively. No points from the field in the last 4 minutes and 7 seconds.
Pete Nance passes away on a dribble handoff to Davis. Davis finds Leaky Black in the corner. He's hit a 3 in this game. Gets it away, Caleb Love. Love guarded closely by Bufkin. Step back 3-pointer from Love is long. Offensive rebound, Puff Johnson stays with the Tar Heels. They can milk this shot clock for another 20 seconds if they so choose. Pete Nance up top. Finds Love on another dribble handoff. Love, nice pass inside to Puff Johnson, who was fouled. We'll check the number on that one. It looked like Kobe Bufkin and Joey Baker. And Bufkin coming to the sideline for Michigan, limping, grabbing his knee.
Kobe Bufkin is 4th personal.
And that does not look good for Michigan. Bufkin really laboring to get to the sidelines. Terrence Williams will come in for him, and Bufkin is having a big grimace on his face as he grabs his right calf. Puff Johnson at the line, misses the first free throw. Bufkin now will sub out for Williams.
And he's going to go straight into the tunnel. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Bufkin the rest of this game the way he's, and he's on the ground.
And he's not even making it to the tunnel. It looks like it might just be a cramp, though. The trainer for Michigan stretching out his calf. 2nd free throw missed by Johnson. Rebound comes away, McDaniel. Working on the left side of the basket. Attempts a reverse layup, but it's blocked by Leaky Black. And Leaky Black spikes the basketball off the knee of McDaniel, out of bounds. Carolina basketball. What a play from Leaky Black.
That was a high IQ play, right off the foot, bounce out of bounds. UNC gets the ball back. No harm, no foul with that turnover.
Carolina has it. R.J. Davis bringing it up. 66-60, inside of 6 minutes left. Carolina leads. Davis working on the left side. A beautiful bounce pass to Pete Nance, who almost slams dunks it. Gets the ball to go in the hoop and the harm. Nance breaks the lid on his scoring for tonight. His first field goal of the ball game and a chance for one more. Bufkin motioning to Juwan Howard that he's ready to come back in the ball game if needed.
You were completely right. It was just a leg cramp. He was down, but he's back up and he's walking fine.
68-60, North Carolina with Pete Nance at the line. A chance to extend the lead to 9. He nails that free throw. Nance, a good shooter, just hasn't been able to get his touches tonight. He's got 20 minutes, 3 points, 6 rebounds. Crowd on their feet once again. A big possession for Michigan. They need a basket here. Down by 9. McDaniel on the right wing tries an entry pass to Dickinson. Fronted well by Nance, but eventually works there. Double comes from Davis. Pass out to McDaniel for 3. No good. Rebounded by Carolina. Michigan doesn't even attempt to grab the offensive board. Gets back in transition. Will not allow transition offense to be too easy for Carolina. Davis working on McDaniel. Cuts inside. His layup no good. Nice rebound by Terrence Williams. McDaniel finds Jet Howard, left wing. Pump fake. Gets by Leaky Black. And he's almost pickpocketed by R.J. Davis, but it'll be called a reach-in foul on Davis. That'll be his 3rd.
Foul charge to the Tar Heels, number 1.
Oh, it'll be Leaky Black, the foul. That's his 4th personal foul. So he fouled Howard before he got to Davis, but it looked like Davis reached in on him. Either way, Michigan now at the free throw line, a 1-and-1 attempt in the single bonus. Howard misses off the front end, misses the front end of the 1-and-1 off the front end of the basket. Offensive rebound comes back to the Wolverines. Joey Baker inside is fouled. And we'll see if that's on Leaky Black. He was close to the ball. That'll be his 5th foul if he's called for it. No, it'll be Puff Johnson. Johnson's 3rd personal foul of the ball game.
We hate to cut away from this, but as a notice, if you're listening over the FM airwaves, we will go to regular programming at 9 p.m. You can catch the end of this by going to YouTube. if this lasts more than 9 minutes.
YouTube.com/WCBN Sports for our listeners on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Joey Baker knocks in that first free throw. Michigan down 69-61. Like Adam said, it'll be at 9 o'clock when we switch over from the broadcast. Baker off the back end, and now the Michigan free throw woes show up at quite possibly the worst time. Inside 5 minutes, had a chance to get the lead down from Carolina's end, but Baker goes 1 for 2 at the free throw line. Tar Heel basketball. Pete Nance on top. Left side, Davis. Davis, another bounce pass to Nance. Nance working in the post, and they'll call it a charge on Pete Nance. Nice job drawing that, Terrence Williams. With 4:36, it's been 2 minutes and 10 seconds since Armando Bacot left the ball game with his 4 fouls. Michigan only 1 timeout. They choose to roll the ball up the floor. Hunter Dickinson now receives the basketball on the right block. Pass out, Howard. Howard trying to re-find Dickinson, but he's fronted well by Nance. Ball has to work its way back up to McDaniel at the top of the key. McDaniel drives right, flip layup, no good. Offensive rebound, put back in by Hunter Dickinson.
Narrows it back to a 6-point lead. Certainly manageable with 4 minutes, 6 seconds remaining in this one.
And that breaks a streak of 6.5 minutes with no field goals for Michigan. They finally get one in, 63-69, 4 minutes. Caleb Love drives inside, tries to pass to the corner to Puff Johnson, but it's picked off. McDaniel's got it. Joey Baker pump fakes the 3. Carolina crowd wants a travel. No call. Stays with Michigan. Michigan down by 6. Williams has it on the right wing. Entry pass Dickinson. Doubled. Around the horn to Baker. Left wing triple. Good.
Baker's struggled from beyond the arc all season. Comes, finally lands at probably the most important time all season.
66-69. 3.5 minutes left, and Carolina calls a timeout. All the momentum on the Wolverine side. A big series of possessions, and finally Michigan cuts the deficit to 1 possession.
This will be extended to immediate timeout. In addition, as we're under 4 now, last immediate timeout. As a reminder, at 9 p.m. we will switch over the FM airwaves to regular programming. If you're watching on YouTube, you're all fine. No need to change that channel or touch that mouse. But if you'd like to catch the end of this ball game and you're listening over 88.3 in the Ann Arbor area, you'll have to go online to catch our coverage. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to Student Radio at the end of this one. We have a couple of exciting broadcasts coming up. We have next week on Thursday, a week from tomorrow, Michigan's men's basketball faces off against Central Michigan. Believe that's the final out-of-conference game Michigan has this season. And then I feel it would be an injustice, and I'd be remiss if I did not mention our Fiesta Bowl coverage a week from Saturday on New Year's Eve, live from Glendale, Arizona. That game will be both over the FM airwaves and on YouTube. If you are interested in supporting Student Radio and listening to more coverage like tonight, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, ring that bell so you get notified, and don't touch that mouse. We have 3 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in this game, and Michigan only trails by 3.
They only trail by 3, and they've flipped the script. Not scoring any field goals in nearly 6.5 minutes. They put in a putback layup from Hunter Dickinson, a 3-point shot from Joey Baker, and now they've been on a 6-0 run over the last minute and a half. Carolina hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes. So these 3.5 minutes will be crucial for the Wolverines to attempt to end this game with a victory. Michigan in the double bonus down the stretch. Carolina in the single bonus. Michigan has 2 fouls to give. Armando Bacot, we'll see if he checks in, and he will. Has not played since 6:46 remaining in the first half. He'll check back in with 3:25 left. He has 4 fouls, but he also has a team-leading 24 points. Another thing to watch, he's 1 defensive rebound away from equaling Tyler Hansborough's all-time mark at Carolina. Other contributors for North Carolina, Leaky Black has 7 points and 10 rebounds. Caleb Love, 14 points. R.J. Davis, 16 points. Pete Nance with those 3 points. And now Baycott has his 24 points, checked back into the ball game, comes in for Puff Johnson. Baycott has it. Now Love, all starters for Carolina on the floor. Love drives inside, skip pass outside of the left corner, Nance. He corrals it, gets it back, R.J. Davis, top of the three-point line. Fronted by Dickinson off the screen. Davis pulls up on the left wing, no good. Rebound comes to Jet Howard.
Within one possession, Michigan gets the ball back, 3-minute marker, and the crowd gets loud and on their feet.
McDaniel has it, calls off the screen from Dickinson. Dribble handoff, Howard working from the left corner onto the right wing. Back to McDaniel on the left wing. And a bad pass inside to Dickinson's picked off by Leaky Black. He keeps it in bounds, gives it back to R.J. Davis. Almost 2.5 minutes left in the first half, 69-66. Dickinson again fronts Davis on the ball screen. Baycott wide open inside, and Terrence Williams fouls Armando Baycott, who has about as easy as a layup you could get, and he's got a chance for one more. A back-breaking make and a back-breaking foul from the Wolverines. 71-66, 2:32 left.
Finally, Baker checks out. He's been a bit of a weak link on the hardwood over the past couple of minutes. That must be special for him to come in against his former rival.
And he did a great job on the floor in these last couple minutes, but he comes off. Carolina's got all their starters, and so does Michigan. Baycott's free throw no good. He struggled from the line all night tonight. Only 4 of 7 from there, stuck at 26 points. Michigan's got it, only down 5, 2.5 minutes left. McDaniel off a screen, gets it, Terrence Williams, top of the three-point line, he nails it! Williams, retribution for the bad foul on the other end. Michigan only down by 2. For those listening on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, for the last 2 minutes, you can get our coverage on YouTube. Pete Nance for 3, short. Terrence Williams tries to save it, and he's out of bounds. It stays with Carolina.
That's a crucial mistake. Carolina will get another attempt here. Michigan brought it within 2. But as we said, if you're listening over the airwaves, you don't want to miss the final 1 minute and 57 seconds. Michigan trailing by 2 points, 69-71. Go to YouTube before it switches over to regularly scheduled programming.
YouTube.com/WCBN Sports. And Juwan Howard wants another look at this Terrence Williams basketball that was called out of bounds, but he won't get it. He's upset on the sidelines. Carolina inbounds. Leaky Black has it on the right wing. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Black works inside on the block. And he's over Terrence Williams and puts it in. 73-69. Michigan down by 4.
80 seconds left. Still plenty of time. Michigan has possession.
Only one timeout for Michigan. They don't use it. Jet Howard on the top of the key. Finds Bufkin right wing. Bufkin pull-up jumper is good. Kobe Bufkin, big-time shot making. He's got 20 points. 1:20 left. Michigan down 71-73. R.J. Davis has it at the top of the three-point line. Doug McDaniel sags off him. Davis wasting the shot clock. 20 seconds now.
This could be risky. If they don't make this and Michigan gets a shot, they might not have a lot of time to work with themselves.
Baycott high screen. Davis attempting to shake McDaniel. Steps back, no shot. Leaky Black has it. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Davis pump fake inside, floater, good! Big shot from R.J. Davis with 50.8 seconds remaining. McDaniel rolls the ball up the floor to save time. He's got it across the logo. Crowd on their feet here at the Spectrum Center. 75-71. Flip back, Terrence Williams, same spot for 3. No good, rims out. Rebound goes to Caleb Love. Dickinson poked it up, but a foul is called on Dickinson, a reach.
Dickinson talking to the zebra, chewing his ear off. He's not too happy here. 4th personal foul. 36 seconds left, so not much trouble about foul trouble, but this point could ice it here. Michigan trailing 71-75.
Caleb Love, though, only shooting 1 for 3 from the free throw line today. He's a 78% free throw shooter on the season. These are clutch free throws. His team up by 4, 36.3 seconds remaining. Last chance for Michigan to stay in this ball game. Calmly, Love sends the first free throw through.
It seems like the critical turning point and the inflection point here was when Michigan went out of bounds and it touched
Terrence Williams on that out-of-bounds play. And Love puts in both of them. Not good news for Michigan. They'll call a timeout. We'll see who that timeout is charged to. It is to Michigan. They have no timeouts remaining. 36.3 seconds left. Michigan down 77-71. They had a chance in this game. They were down by 2, 69-71. They let it slip away. Carolina hit a couple buckets, but now this is it.
6 points. It is near impossible, but that near is important. It is certainly doable. Just would take some crazy shots. But as I said earlier, Terrence Williams, he got the rebound, touched out of bounds before he could get it off. UNC ended up getting the ball back, putting it in, and that could be the crucial game-changing point. Michigan at that time was down by 3. If they would have gotten the ball back, it could have been a tie game theoretically.
And Michigan does have 2 big shot makers that could take the basketball in these final series. Kobe Buffkin has 20 points. He's 6 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. Jet Howard, the freshman, 17 points, 6 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3. It could go to either of those players. I wouldn't expect Terrence Williams to receive the basketball, but he has hit 2 of his 6 attempts from 3 in this game. Michigan probably needs a triple try. This isn't a scenario where they can settle for 2 and wait for Carolina to miss their free throws.
Oh, certainly not. Down 6, you'll need essentially 2 threes and pray that UNC doesn't make it. 36 seconds left, so you know UNC is going to try and milk down as much of a clock as they can here. Wolverines need to come out of this timeout, have a game plan, get a guy open. Who do you give that shot? I'm thinking maybe Jet Howard?
We'll see. And Michigan sends out their starting lineup. Carolina keeps theirs back on the floor. Leaky Black, Carolina's best perimeter defender, will be matched up against Jet Howard. This will be a matchup between those 2 players and the veteran guards for Carolina and Michigan's inexperienced guards. Can Doug McDaniel and Kobe Buffkin break through, beat Carolina? Can Jet Howard get around Leaky Black, get a shot of his own, and get Michigan back in this ball game? Inbounds to Doug McDaniel, clock running. Inside of 30 seconds. McDaniel to Buffkin. Buffkin up top. Nobody really open.
Soon.
McDaniel back to Buffkin. Inside of 25 seconds. Buffkin floater inside. It's good. Michigan back to being down by 4. 77-73. Immediate foul on Caleb Love. And if that's assessed to Kobe Buffkin, he's out of here.
That's 5 personal fouls.
And Jet Howard kind of raised his hands up. He wanted that foul because he's only got 3. And with Kobe Buffkin out, Joey Baker will come in. And that gets Michigan's leading scorer off the floor in a big-time moment. Kind of a brain cramp for Michigan to not have Jet Howard take that foul.
Yeah.
Caleb Love.
And Howard was right there, too. It wasn't even anything about time. You think if Love makes even any of these, it's game.
Caleb Love makes that first free throw. He made his last 2 on his previous trip to the line when he was intentionally fouled. 4 for 6 from the charity stripe today. Michigan down by 5, 19.6 left. Now down by 6. As Love nails another free throw, he's been clutch down the stretch of this game. He's got 18 points. McDaniel needs a bucket quick. Out to Jet Howard in the right corner. Howard's 3-point shot is short, and that'll probably do it. Hunter Dickinson fouls out, reaching in on R.J. Davis, and North Carolina's going to walk away with the victory.
And that'll do it. The crowd is loud and on their feet, waving goodbye to Dickinson. He's a modern-day Christian Laettner, and for UNC fans to beat them at essentially a home site like this in an NBA arena, that's got to be special.
Terrace Reed Jr. subs in for Hunter Dickinson. And with Michigan down 79-73, 6.2 seconds left, and R.J. Davis, who is a 90% free throw shooter this season, this game is all but over.
Michigan fans trickling out, UNC fans staying for this one. First shot's up, it drains it, nothing but net. And after this game, there will be a women's match between Oklahoma and Florida, but I don't think many of these UNC fans are looking forward to that. they're just happy that their team won.
Davis misses that second free throw, so Michigan's got the basketball back. Joey Baker, last gasp three, he hits it. Michigan down by 4 now, but with 0.9 seconds, it's impossible to win this game. Carolina inbounds the ball, dribbles the clock out, that's it. 80-76. Michigan loses this one. They had a shot. They were down by 2 with a few minutes remaining, 69-71. They let it slip away. Carolina ices it from the combined effort of Armando Bacot with his 26 points. R.J. Davis had 19. Caleb Love had 18. Bacot's going to have to wait another game to get that defensive rebound record. He finishes with 5. R.J. Davis also pours in 5 assists. Caleb Love has 4 assists. Carolina was undefeated this season, 4-0. When Love registered 5 or more assists, they get the win here tonight anyways. For Michigan, Kobe Buffkin finishes with 22 points, but he fouled out. Hunter Dickinson finished with 9 points, but he fouled out. And he was not great in that game.
Exactly.
As Michigan goes off the floor despondent.
That's got to be a brutal loss. You left it all on the court. Your 2 best players, your 2 leaders on the court fouled out. It's going to be a long Christmas break. They play a week from tomorrow against Central Michigan. WCBN will be on that one. And then they also, the football program plays in Glendale a week from Saturday. My stats guy, Harrison, he is reminding me that the spread was 5.5. So with that final 3, it does make Michigan cover, but many Michigan fans are probably still devastated that just like the UNC game, just like the Kentucky game, Michigan was just unable to finish this one, left a lot of opportunities on the stretch.
Michigan finishes the game 6 of 8 from the field, and they still lose by 4. Leaky Black, a good defensive effort from him. He pulls in 10 boards. Terrence Williams for Michigan also had 11 boards, and this game was really settled inside. Hunter Dickinson couldn't get anything going from the field, and Armando Bacot had anything he wanted, 11 of 15 on his shot attempts, 4 of 7 from the free throw line. North Carolina couldn't really shoot great from the line, but when you're shooting 50% from the field, it doesn't really matter. They finished the game 15 of 27 on their free throws. Michigan shoots better than their season average, 71.4% from the line, but couldn't really hit anything outside of 3-point territory. Almost equal 2-point field goal to 3-point field goal distribution. So a tough loss here at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Michigan splits the men's and women's basketball game against North Carolina. The women got a big dub against the number 6 ranked Tar Heel squad last night, but Michigan drops this one. They drop to 7-4. Carolina improves to 9-4. And they will move on to ACC play. Michigan has one more non-conference game at home at Chrysler Center against the Central Michigan Chippewas on December 29th. WCBN will have that game. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's been a ton of fun to be here in Charlotte. It's been a ton of fun to call these games. For my partner, Adam Bressler, I've been William Gregory. Thank you very much for joining us on FM or on YouTube. I'd like to wish you all a happy holidays and go blue.
Merry Christmas, and tonight's the 4th night of Hanukkah for those who celebrate. Good night, go blue, and we'll see you in Ann Arbor and Glendale.